At Green Stadium, Delaware State Hornets in town to face Howard on the Sports Fever Television Network, MEAC College Football Game of the Week. Hi, everybody. Great to see you. I'm Phil Shaner alongside my partner, the czar of the playbook, Emery Hunt. Delaware State looking for their first win of the season. They will be challenged today against this high-powered Howard offense.
Talk about a team that averages over 500 yards a game. That's going to be a tall task for a defense, but if Delaware State is up to the task, they can definitely win this ball game.
And you like Kewan Selby, the defensive back for the Hornets.
Can you score? Can you take the ball away? We know Howard can score, and we know Delaware State's Kewan Selby can definitely take the ball away. They're going to need him to be big time today.
They call it the go-go offense for Howard for three big reasons. Their quarterback, Kalen Newton, the wide receiver, Jaquez Ezzard, and Kyle Anthony. These three, well, they're good all day.
And they can do different things. We were on the broadcast against Morgan State a couple of years ago when Anthony had his coming out party. A more polished receiver, but Ezzard is a game breaker that plays off well what Anthony does on the outside.
It's going to be exciting. Howard finally home, right?
It's been, 5 weeks? They're home. Tailgate was cooking out there earlier. I had something you didn't. I'm ready to go.
I am too. It's the Hornets and the Bison on the Sports Fever Television Network. Kickoff from Washington, D.C. coming up next. Brought to you by Howard University. Back in Washington, D.C., Green Stadium, and Howard finally has a home game, taking on 0-5 Delaware State Hornets. Before we get things going, let's send it down to the field to Jeff, our third member of our broadcast team, Jeff Jazeski. Jeff?
Thank you, Phil. Both of these teams here in the early season have been road warriors. Howard here in Week 6 playing their first home game. Delaware State played their first home game last week. This will be 5 of 6 on the road. Coach London earlier this week said, we're just ready to get back into the routine of playing in front of our home crowd, playing on our home field, and playing against a good coach team in that Delaware State bunch. Phil?
Thank you, Jeff. Getting ready to go. Howard will kick the ball to Delaware State, coming off a 34-6 loss in their home opener, the defending MEAC champs North Carolina A&T last weekend. Howard also trying to bounce back from a loss. The Bison gave up a winning touchdown with 24 seconds left in a 40-35 MEAC loss on the road at North Carolina Central. So both teams hungry to try to get a win. And Joseph will kick the ball off, and this is where Delaware State is at their best. They had 2 kickoff returns for a score this season in one game. The wind will be a factor here today, a very windy day in our nation's capital as the ball blows off the tee. A little rain this morning, no rain in the forecast for the rest of the day, but it certainly feels like fall all of a sudden here in Washington, D.C. for this MEAC Game of the Week on the Sports Fever Television Network. Joseph will give it another opportunity. Ali and Kali back to receive the kick for the Hornets. Again, both of those players return to kick for a touchdown. First time in school history that's happened at Delaware State. And this kick goes to the end zone, and Delaware State will have the ball at the 25-yard line to get things going. Their offense has struggled, 8th in the MEAC in total offense, 5th rushing the ball, and 9th passing. Take a look at the Delaware State starting offense led by Kean Black, the junior quarterback. Passed for 432 yards, 2 touchdowns. Last week had 108 yards and also ran the ball for 51 yards. This offensive line, they're trying to piece them together. They have some dangerous wide receivers. Trey Gross leads the way as their top receiver with 18 catches. Also Selby with 11 catches for Delaware State. 1st and 10 from the 25. The give to Ali. Ali picks up 5 yards to the 30 before he was stopped. 2nd and 5 coming up. And this Howard defense, that's an area they've struggled. They're 9th in total defense in the MEAC. They're giving up an average of 469 yards of total defense. This is an area they want to improve on. Cook at the cornerback position is outstanding. Smith is good as well. They like some of their safeties. Robinson and Freeland have played big. Ball is loose and a fumble. This has been a problem for Delaware State. Turnovers, and they turn the football over, and the Bison recover.
You're going to see a lot of problems with that exchange when you're running zone read option. And right there, you saw it on the first play, kind of a slow give for the quarterback, and the running back kind of yanked it away from the QB. But on this particular play, the second play of the game, you saw them have the same issues, which led to a fumble. And now you have Howard with that go-go offense, averaging 500 yards a game in great field position.
The 5th fumble that the Howard defense has recovered this season. And there's a look at the head coach, Ron Milstead, in his first year. Delaware State grad, played in the NFL, the 92 grad, taking over the program at Delaware State. Newton goes down to the 5-yard line and incomplete. He was looking for his intended receiver out of the backfield, Reynoso, and incomplete on his first pass. Newton's been awesome. If you thought his freshman year was special, well, his sophomore year is even better. He's been doing it all. Over 1,200 yards passing. It's been outstanding. Throwing the football. And Newton keeps it himself around the right side and gets hit at the 20-yard line before he is stopped at the 19. Dual threat quarterback. You got to love what Newton brings. And what a start to his career. The upset over UNLV last year as a freshman, shocking everybody. Probably the biggest upset of maybe in college football history.
I've been more impressed with his progression as a passer. We saw him last year as a freshman kind of go through those freshman struggles, but he's seeing the field well. He's making accurate decisions with the ball, and he's doing a great job of moving this offense forward.
And Pugh gets the carry. Pugh gets the first down to the 15-yard line. Now, first and 10 for the Bison.
Newton is a bow-legged guy, and when you talk to Floyd Little, the Hall of Fame running back, former Syracuse great, talks about being bow-legged as an advantage because defenders can't really get both arms around your legs. You're able to slip a lot of tackles.
See if the Bison can take advantage of the turnover. Penalty markers down. That's going to be on Howard. Newton became the first freshman in MEAC history to surpass 3,000 yards of total offense, averaging 289 yards of offense per outing. That's what he did last year as a freshman.
Again, last year was about getting that offensive line up to speed. This year they look a lot better up front, which is why they were able to compete in a lot of those games against FBS opponents.
Newton goes in the corner, the end zone, and is caught, and there's a penalty marker. Can you believe Jordan Ali came up with that football? How did he do it? What a catch by Jordan Ali.
They're calling that a touchdown as well.
Absolutely. There was tons of contact. Ali was able to come up with the catch for the touchdown. That's his first touchdown of the season. He had 3 catches for 36 yards last week from Kings, Georgia, Virginia. The sophomore with an incredible grab.
But he said if it's not broke, don't fix it. And you saw them try that on the previous play, which was called back because of a procedure penalty. They go right back to it for the touchdown. Just a great way to start the game. And what an outstanding catch by Howard. Just going right there for the reception. Easy points. Great way to start the game if you're the Bison.
Joseph with the point after. What a catch by Ali. And Howard takes advantage of the turnover and leads at 7-0.
Really good. Eckridge, Saturday done right.
The referee was looking at something different because that ball and that reception landed at about the 15-yard line and he called it a touchdown. But Jordan Ali is a running back. You don't normally see running backs go up and get the football like that. That was a receiver-type play, and it worked out for him for the quote-unquote touchdown.
And another kick goes out of bounds at the 1-yard line. That'll be a penalty marker. So Howard was able to take advantage of the Delaware State turnover and turn it into a touchdown. Jordan Ali makes his first touchdown catch of his career from King George, Virginia, the sophomore. He's only 5'8". He went up and made an outstanding catch.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Rod Milstead of Delaware State earlier this week, and he spoke about trying to rebuild this program inside out. So he's going to focus heavily on trench warfare and rebuilding this offensive line, being a former NFL offensive lineman himself.
Delaware State 1st and 10 from the 35, and Black keeps it himself. Cross midfield into Bison territory, and an 18-yard pickup up to the 47-yard line into Bison territory. Impressive run there by Keon Black.
I think when you saw Keenan Black pull that football on the first play, that's what he saw on the outside, and now they go back to it, and he's found room running out there on the perimeter.
Ali gets the carry and is tackled for a 2-yard loss. The Bison defense blew that one up quick.
One player you're going to see a lot of today for Howard on defense is Zamone Robinson, the outside linebacker. He's a freshman at 6'4", 225 from nearby Silver Spring, Maryland. One of those guys that lead the team in tackles, are always around the football. He's a tremendous player on the outside. He's right there on your screen.
Robinson, 2.5 sacks on the season. That's 8th in the MEAC. Aline goes across the 45-yard line down to the 44. For Bryson Aline, 220 all-purpose yards in that Norfolk State game. He's a local product out of Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware. Preseason All-MEAC, second-teamer.
This is a very good pace right here for Delaware State. Getting a lot of movement up front.
Third down. Black will pass, or try to. Throws across his body and incomplete. Was looking for Kali. Dangerous pass. Anytime you make that throw across your body, could end up in a negative result.
And you never want to see a junior making that type of a throw. That's a freshman level type mistake right there. I get it, it's third down, you're trying to make a play, but throw that ball out of bounds. You want to put the ball back in the hands of Howard in a turnover situation.
Freeland back to receive the punt from Romo Martinez. The kicking Romar Martinez is Jose. He's the place kicker. His brother Fidel is the punter from California. Martinez's punt is a good one. It was a touchdown before it went out of the end zone. To the end zone, not the case. A touchback. Fidel Romo Martinez averages 43 yards a punt. He had a 70-yard punt earlier.
So if you're Howard, you're coming out on your second series, you really didn't have to try to run the football. You see their offense right there. But keep an eye on quarterback Kalen Newton. We talked about him at nauseam, but he's one of those top players in the conference.
This offense is so good. Talking about over 500 yards of total offense. First in the MEAC in total offense, first in passing. Kalen Newton only been sacked 7 times this season. Run the football for a short gain over the right side. That's one area that they like to establish the run. Reynoso from Reading, Pennsylvania gets the carry. He's a freshman. So many young players on Coach London's squad. Both teams, if you look down their roster, Emery, both teams, a ton of freshmen and sophomores, not only on their roster, but on the field playing.
And that's why you saw a lot of mistakes last year for both squads. Just a lot of young players trying to get out there and play.
Kalen Newton's pass is complete to Jaquez Ezzard. He's a playmaker, and he's gone to the house for another touchdown. How good is Ezzard? What a catch! And the Bison are on the board again. Ezzard's 6th touchdown grab of the season.
5'9", 185, get the ball high, grab that football, break a couple of tackles, and outrun to the end zone. He almost ran the ref out of his shoes. The ref fell out on that play as well, but just a nice throw over the middle of the field by Kalen Newton. Split the 2 defenders. You're going to see Ezzard go up and grab that football at its highest point, all hands, and outrun everyone else to the end zone.
77-yard touchdown from Newton to Jaquez Ezzard. Ezzard is averaging 22.7 yards a catch. Joseph on for the extra point. Kick is up and good. Well, Howard's glad to be back at Green Stadium. The big-time go-go offense is going. Newton to Ezzard for the big score. It's 14-0.
They don't. Hampton by Hilton.
Start for Howard, their first game at Green Stadium. They had a game scheduled for September, but it was canceled against Savannah State because of the hurricane. So this is their first home game, and Kalen Newton is glad to be back home. 2 touchdowns in this quarter. Newton now has 12 touchdowns in the season. Last year he finished with 13 as a freshman, so you can see what he's doing here as a sophomore. Joseph kicks it off again, a line drive kick. Selby gets it. He's dangerous. Picks it up at his own 5-yard line, and it was hit. What a play by the Howard special team. That's an area Coach London made sure they worked on the last couple of weeks. Big hit at the 7-yard line. McCray Bugs, listen to the big hit here.
I'll let you know who does it well, and that was just a great open field tackle right there on the special teams.
McCray Bugs, big time hit. Let's head down to the field to Jeff Jazeski. Jeff?
Well, guys, Just got to see with our own two eyes what Jaquez Ezzard can do with the football. Mike London said earlier in this week, listen, he's just a smart, humble kid that works his butt off during the offseason. Him and Kalen built a great rapport, and he said this kid can just go up, get the ball, and has a knack for making big plays.
Thank you, Jeff. Aline with the carry. Gets a couple of yards on his first down carry. So Howard off to a quick start. 2 touchdown passes by Newton. Delaware State has struggled offensively, trying to get that offense going. Coach Milstead has a lot of young players that he wants to get involved. It might take some time. The pass was dropped by Shelby. Incomplete pass. 3rd down coming up for the Hornets.
We just saw Teron Selby try to catch that same pass on the kickoff. He has to start getting into the game, man, because he's a big-time playmaker for their offense. But I like the pace of their running game. They've had success, especially on 1st down, running the football. I want to see them perhaps stick to that and really neutralize this defense or this offensive power by keeping their own offense on the field.
3rd and 6 from the 13 for the Hornets. Pass incomplete. Is looking for Colley. So 2 drop balls and a 4th down coming up for the Hornets. They're going to have to punt it back to Howard.
Yeah, that's an issue right there. You saw 2 drops on this drive, both of which could have did a great job of moving this offense down the field, at least converting a 1st down. And those are the mistakes that Coach Milstead spoke about earlier in the week that they have to avoid. When you're a young team, everything has to be perfect. And you can't have these drops. You can't have these opportunities missed on offense when you're facing a team that can score in bunches like we know Howard can.
Ezzard back to receive the punt. Ron Martinez with the punt. A short one. He shanked it off the side of his foot. And great field position again for the Howard Bison with a 14-0 lead. Cambria Hotel is a proud sponsor of Howard University Athletics. The hotel is closest to the university and offers discount lodging rates for all Howard University events. For preferred rate, please visit Howard Athletics site, click on their logo, or call the hotel directly, the Cambria Hotel. Howard, 14-0 lead. Newton 2 touchdown passes, a great catch by Ali, and then the 70-plus yarder to probably one of the most dangerous men in the MEAC, and Jaquez Ezzard. So a 1st and 10 from the 32. Newton gets the ball out to Reynoso. Reynoso tries to get back to the line of scrimmage, and that was it. Well played by the Hornets defense on the outside. There's a late penalty marker down at the 30.
Brian Cavalcante is one of the best linebackers in the MEAC and was one of the preseason All-MEAC performers for Delaware State, a junior backer that's all over the field, and he's the heartbeat of this football team.
Certainly is. Leads the MEAC in tackles, 50 tackles, 10 tackles for a loss. Last week, in their loss, home opener, the North Carolina A&T had 12 tackles, 2 for a loss. First and 10, ball now on the 24-yard line. Anthony, plenty of time to throw. Fires to the end zone and incomplete. Let's take a look at the defensive starters. You talk about this Delaware State defense, ranked 7th in the MEAC overall. Ironically enough, they have no interceptions and only 1 sack. So they're not getting a lot of turnovers. Their linebackers get most of the tackles. 2nd down. The handoff, and not much there at all. On Dorsey from York, Pennsylvania, another freshman. Dorsey had a big game last week, 15 carries for 83 yards and a touchdown.
That's the 2nd big stick by Brian Cavalcante. I like the way he plays. He's an old school backer. He's coming there with a lot of bad intentions and make it stop. You talk about him and Kewan Selby, the corner, 2 of the premier players in the MEAC on defense. So those guys kind of try to lead this football team and galvanize this defense and get a stop here on 3rd down.
3rd and 6. Newton going to the end zone looking for Anthony and incomplete. Anthony has 28 catches for 351 yards, leads the MEAC in that category. That's the first time he was targeted today, but incomplete. Fourth down coming up.
This is where you want to see Newton continue to progress. You saw 2 passes on this series. Both were high and over receivers' heads. He has to try to flatline that accuracy. He can be hot and cold and hit or miss a little bit, but you want to see him try to find that consistency with his passes from down to down. And that's when he's going to take the bigger step forward.
Joseph with a 37-yard field goal attempt. He's 3 for 4 on field goals. His longest was a 35-yarder. So Raji Joseph, let's see what he does. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Howard scores again on offense, and they are in control for Coach London. The Bison lead it 17-0.
USAA Bank helps you stay a step ahead. Find help at every turn. Yeah! With USAA Bank.
And the scoring doesn't stop. This is an offense that's averaging 30 points a game. That's second in the MEAC. Joseph adds a field goal, and it's 17-0. We're still in the first quarter with 9 minutes to go.
They average, over 500 yards a game on offense? So if you're Delaware State, your best defense has to be your offense, and you have to find ways to sustain drives in order to keep that Howard offense off the field.
Joseph's kick goes into the end zone for a touchback. Lee was back there but couldn't get it, and it went over his head. 17-0 lead for Howard. Howard won a few weeks ago in Indianapolis over Bethune-Cookman, but couldn't get it done last week. Needed a defensive stop or two to beat North Carolina Central. That was a crazy back-and-forth game. North Carolina Central scored in the final 20-some seconds to win it last week on the road for a Bison loss. See what Black and the Hornets can do with a 1st and 10 from the 25. Pressure shown by the Bison. Aline, tackle for a loss. He loses 2 yards as that play was blown up by the Howard defense.
It's a great job right there by Augustine, the freshman linebacker. Again, another freshman in the starting lineup. This defense is littered with freshmen across the board, and these guys are starting to grow up and step up and make big plays and really play great defense.
Augustine with 15 tackles on the season. Lost 2 yards, 2nd and 12. Black fires, incomplete. Another drop ball. It's the 3rd one of this game. Looking for Selby.
Second one he's dropped today, and also had the muff on the kickoff. And again, young team having to overcome these type of mistakes to make plays. And I know Coach Milson is frustrated right now because these guys are just shooting themselves in the foot with drop passes to blown assignments on defense. They have to find that consistency in order to move this program forward. 3rd
and 12 for Black and Delaware State. Ball is almost intercepted. Threw it into traffic to Selby, and it was almost picked off by the Howard defense. Very aggressive on that secondary. Coach London likes the way his secondary goes after the football.
Coach London is a defensive guy, and I like this 3-4 defensive power. You have a lot of length and athleticism at the outside linebackers at the safety position, so throwing what looks to be an open window may get closed pretty quickly because of the length and athleticism that they have on the back 7.
Fidel Romo Martinez, the junior, will punt the football away. The last one he shanked off the side of his foot. Ezzard back to get the punt for Howard, and bounces short and goes out of bounds at the 44-yard line. And that's where Howard will have the football up 17-0. Newton with 2 touchdown passes and a Joseph field goal to scoring for the Bison.
When we talk about this go-go offense, talking about Coach Brendan Marion's baby, his child, he birthed this offense, and what he's doing is great because it's a lot of window dressing, a lot of personnel, a lot of formations, different formations, unique formations to try to gain the advantage. And he's put together a very good offensive system and an offensive attack that has led the Bison the last 2 seasons.
1st and 10 for Howard. Let's see what they can do with it again. The only thing they've done so far this game is scored every time the offense has touched the football in some form or way, and that run play doesn't go for much. Derek Parsons from Philadelphia. Parsons stopped. So they run a lot of people, Emery. I mean, they have a stable of running backs. They, of course, last year, Anthony Filia, one of the top players, all MEAC first teamer. So they had to replace him, and they do it with freshman and sophomore. And They run out a lot of different guys that get opportunities to run the football.
But it's going to help them grow moving forward. And you talk about the same thing with the defensive side of Delaware State. I love how they're playing the run in this ball game. You just have to get better as far as on the back end.
Newton throws the football down the field, has an open receiver, almost an unbelievable catch, and incomplete.
It's a great job right there by Devin Smith, the junior corner, on that play. You talk about a guy that did a great job in playing the ball, Nigel Bynum as well, on the secondary. You see right there, a little hole, but was able to get back in play. That's Nigel Bynum doing a great job in making sure that pass fell incomplete.
So a 3rd and 11 now for Newton. Look at this set, 3 wide receivers at the bottom of your screen.
With 2 tight stack to the right side.
Interesting formation. Coach Marion, the offensive coordinator. Kyle Anthony with the completion. Right at the first down sticks, picks up the yardage needed for a first down. Kyle Anthony knows where he needs to be. He has everything in the makings of a future NFL player, Kyle Anthony, 81.
You see right there, just setting himself up, like you said, at the sticks and getting his hands out in front. That's key. Everything he did right there was textbook. That's how you draw it up. That's how you coach it up. Which is why he's one of the best receivers in the MEAC.
29 catches now for Kyle Anthony on the season. Newton, time to throw. Ball might have been hit at the line of scrimmage, but caught by Anthony down at the 28-yard line, and Anthony loses his shoe, but still catches the football.
This is impressive. It won't show up in the stat sheet, but watch what he does right here on the replay. You're going to see him see the ball be underthrown, go into basketball mode, body up, keep the defender away from it, and use that 6'3" frame to haul in the reception. That's a savvy play right there by a junior wide receiver.
How about that? Kyle Anthony, 2 straight catches. Handoff up the middle to Reynoso. The freshman from Reading, Pennsylvania, gets another call.
Iggy Reynoso, like you said, the freshman tailback. A lot of freshmen are getting in the mix, and it just helps the team build that continuity for the long haul.
Newton will keep it and then pitch it to the outside. The option pitch to Dorsey. Dorsey picks up the first down and more and gets inside the 5-yard line down to the 4. Dorsey's a kid they like. He's from York, PA, yet another freshman.
Khalid Dorsey, again, 5'11", 175. And they got a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism in the backfield. Using 2 freshmen is key because those young, fresh legs are going to get out there and get it. You just see another unique formation with 2 backs to the same side.
5:50 to go first quarter, and Howard looking to add more points. Pass is incomplete. Had a receiver in the end zone. An incomplete pass, 2nd and goal coming up for Kalen Newton.
You saw the formation, 2 tailbacks on the right side. That's the old near and far formation, except you have Newton in the shotgun instead of under center. So little wrinkle to something that we've already seen before in football.
Newton throws the interception right in the end zone, and the first interception of the season for Delaware State, and that's your guy. We talked about him in the open, Selby, with the first interception of the season for the Hornets.
Football's not that hard. Can you score and can you take the ball away? And it was an ill-advised throw, number 1, but just good awareness and good ball skills like we talked about in the open by Kewan Selby, just making an interception. That's the type of plays you want your primetime players to make on defense. So we've seen big plays versus the run by Brian Kevakante. Now we see a big play in interception on the back end by Kewan Selby. They just need now their offense to start to put together drives to where they can start to put a dent in the scoreboard.
Newton's 7th interception thrown of the season, and that one will hurt because it was in the red zone and in the end zone when Howard was going in for more points. But they still have a 17-0 lead, but let's see what the Hornets can do off the turnover. Their first pick of the season. That has to make their defensive coaching staff feel good that they finally got that turnover. 2nd and 10 coming up for Black and the Hornets. This ball flies over the head of Selby.
See, this is why coaches stress the little things at practice, because the little things tend to add up to big things. And we've seen this so far on offense for Delaware State. The drop passes, the ill-advised throws, the high throws, all of which are just going to drive Coach Milstead mad this week when he goes back and watches the film.
3rd and 10. Black tripped up and loses a couple of yards. Black was hit, lost his footing and lost 2 yards on the play, and a 4th down and a punting situation coming up. So that interception that Kalen Newton threw in the end zone, in effect, the Howard defense was able to force a 3 and out.
It's a great job right there defensively. No one was open back deep, and they were able to get enough pressure where it frustrated Keenan Black to try to get outside the pocket where he tripped on his own foot and fell down. Now they're going to punt deep on their own end. So you're right. Turnover yielded nothing for Delaware State.
Romo Martinez has been busy here in the first quarter. Yet another punt for him. Ezzard back to catch it, and off of Ezzard's chest, but picks it back up at the 45-yard line, and he's off running, and Ezzard gets across to the 47-yard line. Howard will have the football when we get back with 4:17 to go here in the first quarter. The Bison with a 17-0 lead.
Okay.
Newton, and the Bison back at it. The 1st and 10 for the 47. Newton to a wide open Jaquez Ezzard, his 2nd touchdown of the game from 47 yards out. Looked too easy. Ezzard with the touchdown catch, his 2nd of the game.
The degree of difficulty right there by Kalen Newton was impressive because he's rolling to his left, has to turn his shoulder square to fire an accurate pass from the flag route deep down the field. Was outstanding for the touchdown. You see right there, turn his shoulder square, putting the ball exactly where it needed to be.
There's the celebration from Newton, who now has 3 touchdown passes. No, not in a game. 3 touchdown passes in the first quarter.
And this is what you want to see from a Howard team. I talked to offensive coordinator Brendan Marion before the game. He was like, yeah, we put up all these points, put up all these yards, but we're 1-3. So when you have a team down, you kind of want to find a way to put a team away. And you're seeing their offense hit the ground running, and they're getting good play from their defense so far in this first quarter and building a 23-0 lead.
Injured Delaware State player down. Yeah, Howard opened the season, played well against Ohio. They lost that game 38-32. Didn't play so well the next week against Kent State, lost 54-14, and then had a home game against Savannah State postponed because of the hurricane. Got their first win in Indianapolis over Bethune-Cookman, 41-35, and then lost on the road last week, 40-35. So you're right, Coach Brennan Marion, he wants to get the W's. The offense is going, but what matters the most is getting the W.
And a part of that is playing great defense. And what we're seeing now is the fact that this defense is doing a great job in keeping Delaware State outside of the end zone.
So Selby is the injured player. He had the interception in the end zone, and they certainly need him. It doesn't look good that he may return. That's a key injury. We featured him at the top of our broadcast, and Selby leaves the field. Joseph on for the extra point after the 47-yard touchdown catch from Newton to Ezzard. And the kick is blocked. The extra point is blocked. Coach London's squad, and the score now 23-0 Howard.
It's a great job by Brian Kevakante getting in there and blocking the kick. Again, you talk about a guy that does a great job on defense, stopping the run. Now you see him in the special teams department making a play and not giving up. And that's what you want to see from Delaware State, a team that's fighting, still competing, still early in the first quarter. A lot of football left to be played, and he's out there leaving it out all on the field.
D-City Smokehouse. When you want barbecue taste you remember from home, go to D-City Smokehouse. Dry rub, brisket, and more. Smoke for 18 hours. D-City Smokehouse can handle all your events' needs. We're serving the VIP guests of Howard Athletics. We're serving the VIP guests at your home. D-City Smokehouse, located on 203 Florida Ave, 3 blocks from the historic Howard Theater. D-City Smokehouse. Right now, Howard is smoking the Hornets, 23-0, 4:08 to go first quarter. Newton, 3 touchdown passes. His brother Cam is in the area. They play the Washington Redskins tomorrow, Panthers and Redskins, here in the nation's capital area. And a return for Aline across the 20 down to the 21-yard line, and that's where Delaware State will have the football.
If you're the Hornets coming back out on offense, you have to remember you can't get 23 points in one play. So you have to take small bites at the apple and work your way back. Try to find success here on this drive. Drive the field, either flip field position or come over with points with a field goal or a touchdown. But they have to start to string together success on the drives.
Jack McDaniels, the sophomore in at quarterback. He started the first 2 games of the season for Delaware State and then was replaced by Black, and he gets an opportunity. So we see Jack McDaniels and first down handoff, and a pickup of 15 yards, the biggest run of the game for Bryant Dallas and this Delaware State offense. Pickup of 15 yards and a first down.
Anytime you have great interior runs like that, your offensive line on the inside, guards in the guard, is doing a great job. So shout out to that Delaware State offensive line on the inside, doing a great job moving guys off the spot.
Dallas gets it again after that 15-yard run and picks up 3 yards on a first down carry. Well, McDaniel's in at quarterback. He's 6'3", 205 pounds, 15 of 34. 101 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception on the season. Black started the last 3 games last year, then took over, and McDaniels and Black were competing in camp. Aline gets the carry and gets to the 39-yard line before he was stopped. So back-to-back run play by Delaware State. Third down coming up.
Now this is the big down right here. This is the money down. You make the quarterback switch, but can these receivers start to catch the football? And that's going to be the biggest key. Can they find ways to get open and make the reception?
A lot of drops, right? 2 or 3 drops.
A lot of drops. That's huge because that's drive killers.
Delaware State 25% on third downs. That's 6th in the MEAC. See what McDaniels can do. Fires and has the completion right at the sticks, very close to the first down with a 10 on the spot. The catch by Colley. Colley's 11th catch of the season, and that's good enough for a first down, so it moves the sticks. The completion from McDaniels to Colley for the first down.
That's what it's all about, just stacking positive plays one after the other. They can continue to do this, he'll find himself down the field pretty quickly.
Aline has room and picks up 8 yards on a first down carry into Bison territory. Out of the 48-yard line, Bryson Aline got through that line pretty quickly.
Confidence is a fragile thing in football. You're seeing right now this football team with Delaware State is starting to play with some confidence, and they're having a lot of success on offense.
2:05 to go here in the first quarter. They have a major hill to upclimb, down 23-0. Daniels in, fires, and has the swing pass completion to the far side, down the sidelines. Oh, and what a big hit on Selby. Teron Selby took off on that little swing pass, and then he paid for it down inside the 10-yard line.
He definitely paid for it. Rodney Denner did a great job in laying the lumber on this hit right here, just catching up with him. And underrated speed right there by Selby. He kind of caught that football and took off, man.
And the handoff, not much there at all. Great job by Howard's defense. They are the true bend but don't break defense. That's been the mentality of Coach Brown. Their defensive coordinator, Vince Brown, came to Howard after spending 3 seasons at UConn as their co-defensive coordinator. Of course, played in the NFL with the Patriots for 8 seasons. Vince Brown, the defensive coordinator for the Bison.
Great job by Teron Selby. Had some drops early in the game. Made a big play for his offense.
Aline gets the carry inside the 5-yard line before he is stopped short of the goal line.
Watch this replay. You're going to see a great job by Bryson Aline, the running back, 5'6", 160. You can't hit what you can't catch, can't hurt what you can't touch. You saw him be his own lead blocker on this play right here, make the first guy miss quickly, then get into the hole and nearly pick up a touchdown.
By the end of the season, I'm going to have a T-shirt with that phrase on it. What is it again?
Can't hit what you can't touch, can't hurt what you can't catch.
All right, we'll have to get that printed up. Maybe for next week's game at Morgan, the Morgan-Howard game, we'll all be wearing those T-shirts. Third down, 4. What a defensive stop there. They got the short pass, but really nowhere to go as they got it to Dallas out of the backfield. What an outstanding play.
Yeah, Jomier Augustine, another big play by him, the freshman linebacker, 5'10", 230. And he got him coming from Atlanta, Georgia. So they do a great job of recruiting nationally. He made a big play out there on defense.
And we're through one quarter. The Hornets knocking on the door, but they're down 23-0 on the Sports Fever Television Network.
We're you. Because we're a team.
Creed 2, rated PG-13.
London and the Howard Bison with a 23-0 lead over Delaware State. And Delaware State's glad that quarter is over. They've been outscored 98-10 in the first quarter. And let's see what Romo Martinez can do. 3 of 6 on field goals. Short one there, and it's up and good. And the Hornets are on the board with the Jose Romo Martinez. The freshman, his brother is the kicker. They're both from California, so they have freshman kickers, Romo Martinez, both Jose and Fidel. And then, of course, the Selby, they're not only brothers, they're identical twins. We saw one Selby injured on the defensive side, and his other brother had the big run that set up that field goal. It's a 23-3 score.
Yeah, both made big plays. We saw the corner, Ewan, make an interception inside the red zone in the end zone, actually, and Tehran overcome some drops early to make that big reception that helped set up Delaware State in good scoring position. They were able to pay off with a field goal, but we're seeing Delaware State slowly get off the mat a bit offensively and defensively. Let's see how they can respond on this series coming up, and let's see how Howard can respond with that one play drive they had on the previous series with a nice touchdown throw from Kalen Newton to Ezard in the end zone. Let's see what Howard can do offensively. They quietly haven't been able to run the football. Let's see if they can get that going on this drive.
Around the MEAC today, North Carolina A&T with a 14-0 first quarter lead over FAMU. That's a huge game. And then getting underway in a little bit, Bethune-Cookman and South Carolina State. And then tonight, Morgan State, Savannah State. MEAC football on this Saturday. It's 23-3. Howard with the lead over Delaware State in Washington, D.C. On campus at Howard University today, the Sports Fever Television Network proud to be here. And the return across the 20 down to the 24-yard line. It's as far as Jones would go before he was stopped. And we'll see, get another look at this Howard offense. And we were very impressed. It had to be with the 23-point first quarter performance. Newton with 3 touchdown passes. Ezard with 2 receiving touchdowns. And it all started with that Jordan Ali catch. It was beautiful. Down at the 1-yard line or the goal line. Depends how you were looking at it. Newton, time to throw the football. Drops it off out of the backfield. That's what Newton is so good at. He can just take some time to be able to scan the field and find some runners out of the backfield. They have so many guys, so many different weapons. That was Hyatt. So there's another guy. They're probably about 7 or 8 deep in that backfield position. Reynoso gets the carry. Reynoso gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe picks up a yard.
Well, they have an interesting offensive line. They're young on the left side with a freshman and sophomore starting, but center, right guard, right tackle, we're talking about redshirt senior, graduate student, and the junior. So not surprised to see the pass protection hold up for Newton. He has had all day to throw the football.
No question about it. 2nd and 9 for Newton. Here comes the pressure this time. Newton trying to run away from it. He'll run the football out of bounds smartly. He felt the pressure coming and then was able to run across the 35-yard line to the 36-yard line. Let's head down to the field to Jeff.
Thank you, Phil. Injury update on Kewan Selby. I just made my way over to the Delaware State sideline. They said they're going to put some ice on that right knee. He banged it on the play, and they're going to wait and see. Hope some of the swelling goes down, and maybe he'll be able to get back out there.
Thank you, Jeff. They could certainly use Selby back. This defense will be challenged in the secondary. Newton on a 3rd down. Ezard with the catch. Catch and run, that's his specialty. Could this be touchdown number 3 of the day? You betcha. Goodbye, Jaquez Ezard. Howard, touchdown.
There's a cascade of problems on that play, but great job by Ezard to make the catch and run to the end zone. But Delaware State was offside. It was missed by the refs. And you had 2 guys in close proximity there to make the stop. But once Ezra gets that clear lane that his eyes are set on that goal line, no one is going to stop him.
8 touchdowns on the season now for Ezard.
Gets 8 in this game almost.
Yeah. And Kalen Newton now with 4 touchdown passes. And the 2-point conversion is good for Howard. This offense is rolling and putting on a show for the first time today at Green Stadium. How about Jaquez Ezard? Who can catch him? Nobody can. It's 31-3. Backed up 628 yards of total offense in a win over Delaware State. They might be on the road to do that again. Newton, 4 touchdown passes, 3 of them to Ezard. 14 touchdowns on the season for Newton. His offense averages over 500 yards of total offense. Last week they had 598 in their loss to North Carolina Central. They're an offensive machine.
But they have the one element that makes it difficult is the mobile quarterback. That makes it an 11-on-11 game. We have a mobile quarterback that can also throw like Newton. It makes it even tougher.
Onside kick, and Howard recovers it. It hit off a Delaware State player at midfield, and the Bison come up with it at midfield. How about that?
I always want to keep everyone on their toes. I love the call, love the aggressiveness. You have a team down, you want to put them away, keep them aggressive, keep them playing, and that's a great job, great call right here in this situation.
You know, I think Coach London, he realized that he hasn't played at home in forever. I mean, the season started way back on September 1st, and this is his first home game of the season after, of course, the game against Savannah State was called off because of the hurricane. So he's glad to be at home, and the home crowd glad to see him. So there, the onside kick works perfectly, and Newton has the football back with already 4 touchdowns today. Fires a strike and the completion at midfield to Ezzard to the 45-yard line. Ezzard with another big catch. How good is he?
He's really good, man. He's a key piece to their offense. I wouldn't be surprised if they come back to this little play design they had, because you saw the tight end on the far side and the running back both wide open. Newton only looked to his left. Maybe that's where the read was going to go, but they had 2 guys open on the near side of the field standing by themselves.
Newton hands the football off to Dorsey, and not much there.
I think this is where the challenge is for Howard's offensive line. Can they get good up front enough to where they can start to blow people off the ball from a running the football perspective? And when you talk about their pass pro, has been great. Like I said before, center, right guard, right tackle, all upperclassmen and graduates. But can they get push up front to get the running game going?
3rd and 5. Howard, the ball on the Hornets' 45-yard line. Trying to keep this go-go offense going. And there's a penalty marker down. It looked like one of the Hornets jumped. We'll have to wait and see. Eric Green, our official today for the MEAC crew. Offsides, and they'll give Howard the 1st and 10.
Very liberal 5 yards they marked off there for the Howard Bison.
Newton will keep it. Option keeps it himself. Good choice there. Gets to the 30-yard line. Newton can run the football.
I love how he runs the option. 9 times out of 10, you see quarterbacks a little bit hesitant trying to run that option. They invite the defender, both defenders, to come in and penetrate. You see him aggressively attack downhill, which keeps that outside defender at bay and allows him the lane to pick up the 1st down.
Dual threat, you bet. Number 1 in passing in the MEAC. Number 3 in rushing. Comes into the game with 251 rushing yards, so he can do it both. Eric Green tells us about the unsportsmanlike penalty on Delaware State, and that continues to give Howard better field position. And a 1st and 10 now on the 16-yard line. Newton goes to Anthony. Touchdown. 16-yard touchdown. Newton's 5th of the game. Kyle Anthony with his 4th touchdown of the season.
That's just a nice back shoulder throw where Anthony got his guy beaten off the line of scrimmage. And Newton really didn't have to do much. He just put it in the area where he knew Anthony was going to use that 6'3", 215-pound frame. See right here, locate the football and beat 2 defenders to it and haul it in for the reception.
Kyle Anthony makes the touchdown grab. So Ezzard has 3, Anthony has a touchdown, and Ali has a touchdown. Those are the 5 that Newton has thrown today. Point after is good. Howard's rolling at Green Stadium. Kyle Anthony wide open for 6. Howard with a 38-3 lead on the Sports Fever Television Network.
Hampton by Hilton.
5th touchdown pass. Anthony registered 3 receiving 100-yard games last year, scored a receiving touchdown in 5 games a season ago, and having another big season this year, leading the MEAC with receptions. Now over 30 catches so far this season. 38-3, Howard with the lead. They kick it off again. Colley with the return to the 20, and that's as far as he would get. So Delaware State has a lot of work to do. They switched quarterbacks, went with McDaniels last time and replaced Black.
They had success moving the football down the field against the Bison. So you look at what can go right for this offense. Running game, long sustained drives, try to shrink this ball game and maximize your possessions on offense. That's the only way you can stop the hemorrhage that's going on right now on your defense.
McDaniel stays in at quarterback for the Hornets. Aline in the backfield with them. 3 wide receivers in the bottom of your screen, trying to get the short passing game going. To Selby with the catch. Selby makes the catch, picks up 5 yards before he was hit and knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, they're going to have to find ways to utilize Selby's speed. We saw him have that big play earlier in the game. He's the one that can match athleticism with this defense. See him getting outside, using that straight arm to keep the defender at bay. So find ways to get him the football in an open space situation and utilize his speed to your advantage.
Selby, the leading receiver, returning for Delaware State. And a first down run for Aline. That moves the chains, pickup of 8 yards, and a first down on Bryson Aline's run.
I like how he's running the football. Again, when you're that short, people have a hard time getting a good shot at you, and you're able to dart in and out of holes and find space in the defense like he did there.
First and 10 from the 35 for the Hornets. McDaniels from the gun. Here comes the pressure. Gets the completion to Colley. Colley with the grab and a 7-yard pickup. McDaniels to Colley to the 42-yard line.
Again, this is good offense for Delaware State because they're just chipping away, and this is what you want to see. Find good plays to stack together and have success. This is good coaching tape for them moving forward. May not help them in this ball game, but it's helping them build confidence for the long haul.
2nd and 3. Aline has the first down and more, and that's Brian Dallas through the hole. So Brian Dallas sneaks into the game, and he had a couple of big runs already in this game, and Dallas gives him another first down into Bison territory after the Dallas run.
A lot of their big runs have come inside, so those guards and that center, Ernest Sellers of Delaware State, have done a great job on these inside to this Bison defensive front.
McDaniels with the pass and the completion to Selby at the 39-yard line.
Good bit of balance right here by Delaware State. You've seen them run well, find short, easy completions to build confidence. This is the type of offense you want to see if you're Coach Rod Milstead. Finding your offense is finding ways to have success, and I like what I'm seeing so far.
Daniels with the option. The pitch to Brian Dallas. Dallas has running room down inside the 20-yard line, down to the right at the 20, and moves the chains again. So a couple of big plays by Bryant Dallas, the junior from Marietta, Georgia.
And he's another shorter guy at 5'8", but he's a little bit thicker at 200 pounds. So they're killing them with 2 short backs, which is outstanding in the way they run the football.
Speaking of shorter, he transferred from Shorter University. I'm not making
that up.
I'm not making that up either. So this time, Brian Dallas tackled right at the line of scrimmage. Well, last year, Delaware State had a season-high 510 yards of total offense, including 401 yards passing, the 3rd most in modern history. That was last year in this game against Howard, a game they lost, but they certainly had a good day offensively last year in Dover. McDaniels, pressure, sacked. Down he goes. McDaniels sacked. Devin Hirado with his first sack. There's a redshirt sophomore from California coming up with the big sack.
A Northern California kid from Fremont, California, doing a great job in getting the sack, just fighting through a block and finding his way in the backfield.
3rd and 13 now. Delaware State needs some points. Daniels goes to the air. The ball was tipped.
And I seen Woodard kind of saw that safety creeping over there and kind of pulled his arm back a little bit. Little gator arms going on, but nice decisive throw right there, but just an excellent defensive play on the back end for Howard's defensive back. Rodney Dennard, again, a freshman from Braddock, Pennsylvania, making the play on the ball.
That's what I noticed about the Howard secondary in the games we've covered. Their secondary certainly are all over the balls. Get their hand, a lot of knockdowns on passes. Let's see what Romo Martinez can do. 40-yard attempt for him, as long as a 49-yarder. Romo Martinez's kick is good, and that's the offense so far today for the Hornets. 2 Jose Romo Martinez field goals. That one good from 40, and it's 38-6 on the Sports Fever Television Network.
It doesn't have to make sense.
2 field goals by Jose Romo Martinez. The scoring for Delaware State. Howard Bison, on the other hand, Kalen Newton, 5 touchdown passes. The 38-6 lead, 7:49 to go here in the second quarter.
It's a good bit of work for Mr. Newton throwing the football. The student section here is jam-packed, man, for that first home game. I like to see the students come out with these on-campus stadiums. Big fan of that. You see the crowd right there just packing it in here at William Green Stadium.
The Hornets will kick it away to the Bison. Give the ball back to Kalen Newton, who has more than a hot hand. He's on fire right now. A yard deep. And the touchback. Craving Pizza, Declaration Shaw is your go-to neighborhood pizza spot. Using only the highest quality local ingredients, Declaration provides guests with the best gourmet pizza. If you're looking for gluten-free, vegetarian, or meat lovers, meets all your pizza needs, along with delicious salads and starters. Join them for a weekday lunch, Sunday brunch, or dinner or happy hour Monday through Sunday. Located on 804 V Street, just a few short blocks from Howard University campus. Sounds like some delicious pizza there. Speaking of excellent and anything he wants on his pizza tonight, the way Kalen Newton's playing. Here comes the pressure, and Newton is sacked. Newton has only been sacked 8 times this season, and he was brought down at the 15-yard line.
It's a great job right there defensively by Isaiah Small, getting in there and making a play. This is the first time we've actually seen Delaware State dial up a blitz, and they were able to get home on that one. So trying to push his offense back, throw off their timing. They're not going to allow Newton all day to throw back there in the pocket like he has been so far in his first half.
And that was a loss of 10 after the Isaiah Small sack. Small's first sack of the season from Miami, Florida. The junior makes the big play for Delaware State. 2nd and 20 from the 15 for Newton. Here comes the pressure again. Newton spins out of it, throws down the field, has an open receiver, and the completion into Hornet territory, and the big grab there by Parson out of the backfield, the sophomore from Philly, with a big pickup down into Delaware State territory.
I just love the way these backs of Howard are able to make plays in the passing game. Dedrick Parson right there, 5'8", 195, like you said, from Philadelphia, getting down the sideline. Newton having the confidence to fire it deep to a running back, and he's able to make the reception.
So 2nd and 20, no problem. Parsons' 10th catch of the season, and Howard's back in business with a 1st and 10 from the 37. 3 wideouts bottom of your screen. 2 at the top. Anthony, he's dangerous. They might try to get him the football. Newton scrambles, looks downfield. He's directing traffic, points, throws, and incomplete. And he was looking for Anthony. A nice defensive play by Delaware State to knock that ball away from Anthony.
It's probably one Newton should have took off and run with, but you saw Jaquez Ezzard bring his guy back in coverage as well. So you have, like we talked about before, 4 guys around the football, 2 on the other team. That's kind of not what you want to see.
Brennan Marion, the offensive coordinator, was a wide receiver at Tulsa. 2008 was his best average for yards per catch, over 31 yards a catch when he played at Tulsa. Dorsey with the carry, gets close to a 1st down, but just short. 3rd down coming up after Dorsey's run.
And Coach Marion, like you said, fantastic career at Tulsa. He is a guy that is a legend. You talk about Tulsa, why you have to put them in the conversation for wide receiver you? Howard Twilley, another receiver. Largen, I believe, went to Tulsa.
I know Brennan Marion has a great story. We'll highlight it throughout this game. The pitch to the outside. Another nice run there by Jordan Ali, who had the First touchdown of the game. Seemed like it was a long time ago, but it was back in the first quarter. Ali made the unbelievable catch, and here on the option pitch from Newton goes for some positive yards and a first down for the Bison.
And when you have running backs that are like him and like the rest of the guys on his team that can double as receivers downfield, it just expands your offense and your offensive capabilities.
Handoff goes to Dorsey. Not much there. Delaware State did a good job of assignment football there to stop Dorsey. A lot of interesting formations that Coach Brennan Marion throws out there. This go-go offense, you know, that's what I guess it makes it so hard to game plan for, because they do so much offensively as far as formations.
And it forces you to think out there on the field. And if you're thinking defensively, by nature, your job as a defender is to react. But if you're thinking, you're hesitant, you're slow, and you're allowing the linemen to get their blocks in place, which is why this offense is so dangerous.
4:40 to go before the half. And going through is Parson, following his lineman through. Dedrick Parson, the sophomore, following some of those big blockers up front.
Watch this wrinkle here on this play. This was a lead option where you have, it looked as though he was faking into the first guy through, but he actually gave to the second guy through and allowed him to run behind that back. And it's just another unique wrinkle to an old school play that allows you to have success.
Third down coming up from the 13. 3rd and 3 for Newton. Could he get his 6th touchdown pass of this first half? Going to the end zone. Oh, incomplete. Almost had touchdown number 6. The intended receiver was Hyatt, who couldn't come up with the grab. Malik Hyatt, the intended receiver, and incomplete. 4th down coming up for Howard.
If there's an area for improvement for Caleb Newton moving forward, it's just about the touch and placement on certain passes. He's been a little high today. He's going to have to work his mechanics properly to make sure that he maintains that level of consistency, because he's been playing excellent. That's an area where he can stand and get a little bit better.
Joseph has 1 field goal today, trying another one from 30 yards out for Raji Joseph, and the kick is up, and the kick is good. 2 field goals from Joseph, 5 touchdown passes by Newton, and it's all Bison, 41-6.
The party.
Switch to Sprint today, and you can get the new iPhone XS for just $0 per month from Sprint.
Inside the czar of the playbook, Emery Hunt in the booth. Jeff Jazeski down on the sidelines for us. And they're singing and dancing on the Howard sidelines with a 41-6 lead.
Linemen are always the most colorful in the team.
Always having a good time.
And they always know where the good food spots are.
They do all the dirty, right?
Exactly.
I mean, we talk about all the guys that score the touchdowns, but it wouldn't be for them. It wouldn't happen. Let's see what Delaware State could do. The football is on the ground on Alleen's return. Would Howard fall on the football? Big pile for it. We'll have to wait and see.
He had to have been down.
Yeah, it seemed like he was, and it looked like he was down, and a few seconds later the ball kind of squirted up on the turf.
But you never know. We've seen touchdowns called from the 15-yard line today. Could be hit or miss.
3:48 to go before the half. And Hornets will still have the football.
You're going to see right here, he's running down. He's going to bounce on the ground. Boom. And now, well, you know what? Maybe the ball started to come out a little bit.
Maybe.
But it ended up being an extra, 15 yards for Delaware State. So they got this one right. I take that back. My apologies.
All right. That doesn't happen often. Bryson Alleen fumbled the football, but Delaware State has the football back. 3:49 to go here before the half. McDaniel's still in at quarterback. He replaced Black after a couple offensive series. McDaniels fires, has the completion far side. Hannon with the catch. And that's a 12-yard pickup. McDaniels to Hannon.
It's a heck of a throw right there by Jack McDaniels, trying to get that ball out quick, fire the dart. Right in between the 2 and the 1 to the receiver. You're going to see that ball hit the receiver right where it needed to be for him to pick up positive yards afterwards.
1st and 10 from midfield for the Hornets. And the give to Bryant Dallas. Dallas across the 45 and picks up 7 yards. 7-yard pickup by Dallas. I've been impressed by Dallas. He's had a couple of big runs.
This is where you want to go into your 4-minute offense if you're Delaware State. You want to operate with some tempo, but you also want to drain that clock and not give Howard any time to throw the ball back before the half.
Okay, 8 yards, 2nd and 2. McDaniels to throw again. Fires, has the completion to Hannon. Back-to-back Hannon catches. And another first down. So Delaware State moving the football here against Howard.
How about Jack McDaniels being ready to come into the ball game and playing exceptionally well? He's done a great job so far in this half.
McDaniels hands it this time up the middle to Dallas. Dallas gets to the 30-yard line.
I really like the job that Delaware State has done up front. I keep stressing that point because their head coach is one of the all-time greats at Delaware State. Never missed a practice or game when he played for the Hornets in the 80s.
As Jeff mentioned, they have a couple of other Delaware State grads on this coaching staff, and down goes McDaniels. He was sacked. Howard was 7.5 sacks coming into this game. There's a penalty marker down.
Obviously, I jinxed the offensive line.
Here's Eric Green.
Holding, number 78, offense. That penalty decline. Third down.
So holding penalty decline, and they'll keep the sack.
Yeah, that was a hole. You saw it right there on the right guard. Kind of dragged the defender down. Can't do that.
3rd and 12 from the 36. Delaware State in Howard territory. McDaniels with the completion at the 30-yard line to Colley.
It's a good job because you can't get all of it back at once. You don't want to try to force the football. It makes it a more manageable 4th down situation where they're thinking about going for it and they're going to go for it. So you want to make that 3rd down, 3rd and long half. You want to get half of it. Now you have 4th and 7. Much more manageable situation for Delaware State.
Trey Gross, their leading receiver, has not had a catch yet today. He's on top of your screen, number 81. He could be a go-to guy here on a 4th and 6. And the Hornets are going to take a timeout to talk about it.
Well, if you're going to take the timeout, you kind of want McDaniels to let that clock bleed a little bit over before taking it. So that, to me, just tells me they're really going to go for it. They want to get the right play call, get the right combination of pass routes, try to break free and put the ball in the end zone.
Howard Athletics would like to welcome its newest sponsor, Half Smoke DC, located minutes away from campus at 651 Florida Avenue Northwest. Don't grow up, it's a trap. That is their slogan. Half Smoke. Proud to be part of Howard Athletics. What do you think of that slogan? Don't grow up, it's a trap.
You know what? They might be right, man. Think about it.
Yeah?
Think about how free you could live as a kid.
You're right.
No worries. I saw a kid the other day getting pushed in a car stroller by her mother eating ice cream. I was like, you know what? That is the life.
Yeah, that would be. 4th and 6 coming up. Ball on the 30-yard line. Hornets 27% this year on 4th downs. And again, watch 81. Gross, the leading receiver, has not had a catch. He's 8th in the MEAC. 18 receptions, 265 yards, and 2 touchdowns, but doesn't have a catch yet today.
You might see some sort of option look going to the far side of the field. There's one-on-one with the quarterback and linebacker. They can make that work if they run that play to the far side. So don't count out the run in this situation.
Aline is in the backfield with McDaniels.
So they should have the game clock running during the timeout. So
well,
we'll give
them a mulligan. It's their first game.
It's first game. First home game. You got to make sure everything works.
First home game.
55 seconds.
Second week of October. We were scheduled to be here for the Savannah State game, and because of the Hurricane Florence, that game was scheduled for September 15th, was postponed. Yeah, that would have been fun. Kevin Hart was doing his tour, promoting his movie that was just coming out, and Kevin Hart was going to be here on campus and was going to join us. I don't even know if you knew that.
You sound bummed.
I didn't want to disappoint you, so I held that news from you. Once I knew the game was postponed because of Hurricane Florence. McDaniels to throw the football. And the completion to Gross. Gross has the first down. I told you, inside the 10-yard line, and they hit their leading receiver, Gross, inside the 10-yard line down to the 6 for a first down on that fourth down play.
Makes sense. He's 6'4", 195. You talk about a guy that's able to play high post, keep the defender away from the football. That's exactly what they did right there. He just put the ball in the area, and you saw Trey Gross just use that 6'4" frame to shield himself away from the defender away from the football. And was able to not only make the catch, but break a tackle and get even more yards, push them inside the 10-yard line.
First and goal from the 8-yard line for Delaware State, looking for their first touchdown. They've had 2 Jose Ramon Martinez field goals. Jose is the freshman. His brother, the punter, is the junior. They're starting to gain some confidence in the redshirt freshman, expecting him to do big things. Last week they let him try a 50-yard field goal, and he had enough leg, but it just went a little wide off the mark in the North Carolina A&T game last week. That was their first home game. Delaware State is on the road for the 5th time in 6 games. So they have only been home 1 time. And of course, this is Howard's first time at home this season. Howard will be on the road next week in the Beltway Battle. We'll have a game for you on the Sports Fever Television Network at Morgan State next week. Those 2 teams, when they get together, always a lot of fun. That's next week on the Sports Fever Television Network, our MEAC College Football Game of the Week from Baltimore. Howard at Morgan.
If you have a kicker in this league, that's like having a golden ticket in Willy Wonka.
Yeah. Who doesn't want a golden ticket? McDaniels looking again to Gross and incomplete. I think Coach Milstead was listening into our broadcast setting to get the ball to Gross.
Yeah, Gross is 6'4", but that one was about 9'4". He wasn't going to be able to get up and get that one. He put that one a little bit too high for him, but you love that they're being aggressive here in this situation.
Second and goal from the 8 for Jack McDaniels. Dallas gets the handoff. Dallas fights his way just shy of the 5-yard line, stopped at the 6.
I love the fact that they still went with the running game there, try to catch those defensive players slipping and sleeping at the line of scrimmage. And again, they're just managing the situation well, trying to stay calm, knowing they have points in the bag with their field goal.
Third and goal from the 6 for McDaniels. McDaniels looking for Gross and incomplete in the end zone. Pretty good coverage by Cook. Cook was on coverage on Gross.
That's a great job by Brian Cook, the cornerback. You saw him beat the receiver to the spot and get in the way of that pass.
Maybe that's the reason why Gross only has 1 catch today, because Brandon Cook is playing him. Probably their best defensive back for Howard.
When you have length, you can disrupt all sorts of passing windows and be a problem for receivers, not only just receivers, but also quarterbacks, because you take away those passing windows and throw the football into.
Want some home field advantage at Green Stadium? Howard trying to get it here on a 4th and goal from the 6. Howard not settling for a Rome Martinez field goal attempt this time. Penalty markers down. Did Howard jump or not? They threw the football on the free play, and are they going to give him that? The whistle blew.
The whistle did blow.
So that's going to stop the play. McDaniels wanted the free play, but we're not sure if it was on Howard or the penalty was on Delaware State.
After distance of the goal, just walk down.
Eric Green tells us it was on Howard. So what is the difference there where you have that free play and you don't? It's up to the officials if they're able to blow that whistle in time or not?
I think it's if you're have a free reign to the quarterback, unabated to the quarterback, they'll blow it quickly. If not, then they'll let you play it out.
4th and goal from the 3 now. Going to the end zone and incomplete. Was looking for Colley. And Howard gets the ball back on downs. McDaniels to Colley, couldn't come up with the 6.
You want to at least put the ball in play for him to have a chance. And I understand going for it there. You don't want to get field goals and you're down 41-6, but you want to put the ball in play to where he has a chance to go up and get it. But great defensive stop right there by Howard. You see Cook running down the sideline celebrating, but he's been playing fantastic football so far in this half.
So is Kalen Newton. 5 touchdown passes, 3 of them to Ezzard, 1 to Anthony, and 1 to Ollie. And 2 field goals from Joseph. And that adds up to 41 points for the Howard Bison, who lead the MEAC in total offense, also in passing. They're one of the top teams in the country as far as offense is concerned. 1:09 to go before the half. Howard has it at their own 3-yard line. Just trying to get some space. And that is Iggy Reynoso. Iggy's been busy today. He had only 2 carries for 18 yards last week, but this week, the freshman from Reading, Pennsylvania, getting plenty of opportunities.
We've seen Jordan Alley. We've seen Iggy Reynoso, Dedrick Parson. A lot of young guys getting carries today for the Howard Bison offense.
Newton will keep it himself on the option look and has enough for the first down. 18-yard run by Kalen Newton, just like that.
And that's the other element to the running game is Mr. Newton doing a great job. Again, playing with balance, keeping that defense off balance because of his ability to both run and throw. And again, the progressions he's made as a passer has been the story of the season, in my opinion, offensively for Howard.
15 touchdowns now in the season. 10 seconds to go before the half. Howard, 41 points in this first half. And 5 touchdowns by Kalen Newton. 5 touchdown passes. That's the end of the first half. The Bison with a 41-6 lead over Delaware State.
Outstanding half, though, of offensive football. If you like offense.
Who doesn't? Howard has plenty of offense.
And Delaware State has had some success moving this football. We'll see what they can do in the second half to build on some of the progress they made as an offensive team moving forward.
And we'll get a word from Coach London on the sidelines. Talk about the first half. 41 points that is Howard Bison to put up. Let's head down to the field. Jeff Jazeski is down on the field with Coach London. Go ahead, Jeff.
Coach, great offensive first half. It felt like you could have scored even more than you did. Just assess the offensive performance.
Well, you have a number 3 and number 12 and Kyle Anthony. You have explosive players, and you're going to try to put matchups on them and help us score some points. So we got out fast on them. We just got to make sure we maintain our poise and not get involved in a tit for tat and all that other stuff like that. So we're going to go in halftime like it's 0-0. We get the ball in the second half and start over again.
When you go up big in the first half of a game, how do you bring that message to make sure the team doesn't get complacent?
That's it, not to get complacent. We've had a lot of things go on this week. Had a player lost a grandfather last night, Dakota, our punter, and just a lot of things happen to these kids. So overcoming adversity, but also have a challenge about how you respond to things. And so right now we're responding well to the things that are happening on the field, and thank God we're able to do it, things that happen off the field as well.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks, Coach London. Howard rolling 41-6 over Delaware State. It's MEAC Football on the Sports Fever Television Network. Our halftime show is coming up next from Washington, D.C. We'll be back. Brought to you by Howard University. Back in the nation's capital, we're at the half. Howard with a 41-6 lead over Delaware State in our MEAC Game of the Week on the Sports Fever Television Network. Let's head down to the field to Jeff Jajeski with a special guest. Jeff?
Thank you, Phil. Joined down here on the field by Howard Athletic Director Kerry Davis. Kerry, a great performance here in the first half from the football team. Just give us your thoughts on the first half.
Well, it couldn't have gone much better than that. I mean, the team is really playing well. And quite frankly, although our record doesn't indicate it, we've had a pretty good start of the year. We lost a nail-biter to Ohio U, which is a FBS institution, and North Carolina Central. We lost a nail-biter to them as well, and beat a very good Bethune-Cookman team. So we're off to a great start, and today I think is a culmination of that in terms of putting it together both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, and obviously football not the only sport you're in charge of as the athletic director. What's new? What can we expect in the upcoming years in this season?
Well, the fall always brings the onset of our basketball season as well. So we'll be having our Midnight Madness, or what we call Bison Madness event, coming up in 2 weeks. That'll be the week of homecoming for us. We're excited about both of those teams. And in the meantime, both our volleyball and our soccer teams are doing extremely well. Our volleyball team is in first place. They're undefeated in the conference. Our soccer team is in second place. They're 4-1 in the conference. Our women's soccer team and our men's soccer team just pulled off a big win over Big Ten school Rutgers University. So all of our fall teams are doing very well. Track and field is performing well. We're just excited about the advances we've made in athletics across the board.
And you just mentioned to me off camera a minute ago, from a facility standpoint, what can we expect here in the future?
So next year we'll be building a brand new press box and suite area. The completion date is scheduled for July 1st. It should bring a whole new ambiance to Green Stadium, which is already a great environment to watch a football game. But it'll allow us to make some deals with sponsors and be able to host VIPs, etc., and also to do more games with people like you, with ESPN and Sports Fever. That's our dream, that's our goal.
And that leads right into my final question for you, Kerry. Obviously on TV today, on TV a couple more times here this season in the future. What kind of exposure does that bring to the university?
Well, Howard is such a terrific institution. It's got a great academic tradition. Our athletic tradition is growing. Our athletic prowess is going, I should say. And one of the things that this does is this is a 2-hour commercial for all of the great things that Howard has to offer. So we can't ask for a better partner than Sports Fever and ESPN, and we're happy to do this, and we're looking for a long-term partnership.
Well, certainly an exciting first half for the Bison. Phil, back up to you.
Thank you very much. I have to control Emery Hunt after Kerry Davis said a new press box is coming to Green Stadium. He was jumping around like crazy. The Howard fans were jumping around like crazy during that first half. The Bison put up 41 points and lead it 41-6. MEAC Football on the Sports Fever Television Network. The halftime show rolls on.
When I say show, you say time. Show.
Laura loves you, and you're doing a great job.
And Howard with a big 41-6 lead over Delaware State. A few other MEAC scores around the region at the half. North Carolina A&T up 21-6 over FAMU. And in the first quarter, Bethune-Cookman with a 10-0 lead over South Carolina State. Let's head down on the field to Jeff Jaseski with another special guest. Jeff?
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Phil. Another special guest indeed. Ty Grace, the women's basketball coach here at Howard, joins me. Hard to believe, but it's almost basketball season already. Just run me through the outlook of the team this upcoming year.
Oh, definitely very excited about the upcoming season. Basketball season is all year for me, but definitely getting ready to have Bison Madness. Returning a very young team, but now experienced with 7 juniors. So I'm just really excited about the outlook and looking forward to playing in the conference and, just chasing that championship.
And with that experience now, what does the future bring for Howard women's basketball?
More wins is always what we're looking forward to, but now that they have that experience, it's a different level of commitment, different mentality for these young women as they go to pursue the championship, to get to the NCAA tournament. So just the change of culture in terms of wanting to win and then being on that next level.
I just got a chance to talk to Kerry right before you. What's it been like being a part of this Howard athletic department with him at the helm?
Kerry's definitely been a great addition and a great change to the athletic department. The vision he has for the coaches, for the student athletes has just been tremendous. His support for us is, out of this world. We're very thankful to have him, and he has a plan, and it's definitely, we're seeing the plan go into action, so it's been awesome.
Well, I wish you the best of luck in the upcoming season. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Phil, back up to you.
Thank you, Jeff. Getting ready for basketball. Won't be far away. Let's listen into our band today here at the halftime festivities. Always a lot of fun. Howard with a big 41-6 lead. We'll listen in to the Howard University Band.
For life, legacy, impact, and music will forever be here to stay. Aretha Louise Franklin. For your music, your life, your passion, for transcending the world forever. We dedicate this to you with great compassion. Aretha Franklin, Dr. Phil. Let's have This has been the Showtime Marching Band under the direction of John W. Barker Band. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Showtime. We're out.
Now, I know you enjoyed that Howard University Showtime Band. It's always showtime when the Howard University Band is on the field. The Showtime Band entertaining the fans here today from Green Stadium. We're at the half, 41-6, Bison over the Hornets. In D.C., we're at the half. Howard with a 41-6 lead and plenty of offense in that first half by the Howard Bison. Kalen Newton with 5 touchdown passes, one shy of tying the record set by Ted White back in the 90s. And here's the first touchdown to Jordan Ali. What a grab! Was he down at the 1 or not? And then Jaquez Ezzard, run after catch. He's so good at that. Over 22-yard average run after catch. And then another one to Anthony. Ezzard has 3 touchdowns. Anthony has 1, and Ali has 1. That's the scoring here. 5 Kalen Newton touchdown passes and 2 field goals by Joseph. 41-6 is our score at the half. The Hornets with 2 field goals by Jose Romo Martinez. Very explosive first half, 41 points, 41-6 our score. Bison team only 1 win this season, but certainly a lot better than their record, and I think everyone in the MEAC realizes that. A lot of people had them picked to finish second, compete for the championship with the defending champs, North Carolina A&T. A&T has that loss to Morgan State a few weeks ago, but that was a non-conference game. They're undefeated in the conference, and they're leading FAMU right now at the half.
I think everyone expected their offense to be great, but this defense today has been the story, in my opinion.
Howard will get the ball first to start the second half, and we're underway. A return to the 30-yard line for the Bison, and Kalen Newton will get back out on the field with already 5 touchdown passes in this first half. Ted White might be a name that you know. He's from the Louisiana area. He was an outstanding quarterback here at Howard, and he has the record for the most touchdown passes in a game with 6, and Newton's 1 away from tying them.
You talk about quarterback you had Ted White, but prior to him you had Jay Walker, and now you have Kalen Newton. So you have a lot of good quarterbacks coming through this Howard program.
Good to see Jay Walker does a lot of the MEAC coverage on ESPN. He's a straight shooter when he calls a game. He tells you what he's thinking, kind of like you, partner.
Absolutely.
Here comes the pressure on Newton. Newton going to run out of bounds smartly. And doesn't look like a sophomore, but he is.
Yeah, he's a sophomore, and I like the decision to not throw the football.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's
Absolutely.
That's what you like to see. Last year, he probably would have made a forced play, which could have ended up as a turnover. But right there, the veteran play, a lot of game experience. Live to play another down. You're an athlete. Get outside and step out of bounds. He did just that.
2nd and 9, gains 1. Just underway second half. Handoff to the outside is Brannon. There's a senior. So again, yet another running back to touch the football. So that's now the 6th guy that has carried the football for this Howard team that is extremely deep in the running back position.
Now, last year we saw Anthony Filial, who was 6'1", about 215. This year, all of their backs are about the same size, at 5'11", 185-ish type backs that can also double as receivers.
3rd down, Newton to pass. Looks for Anthony. Anthony turns back on the ball and couldn't come up with a catch at the 30-yard line.
It's a great job of coverage right there by that 5th defensive back in this 3-3-5 defense, Jahad Newbuyer. Did a great job right there in knocking that ball away.
It's from Harrisburg, Central Dauphin East, the junior. Makes the play on Anthony, and now 4th down. And Howard will punt the ball away.
Yeah, Newbuyer was blanketed across the receiver and did a great job just getting in his way and also knocking that pass down.
Howard punts the football away. Back to get it, Aline, and bounces and is touched at the 15-yard line. And that's where Delaware State will have the football. Keep the ball moving down the field requires planning, strength, and dedication as one of the United Van Line's premier agency groups. Hildreth knows a thing or two about moving as well. It's moving your home or your office. You can count on the team at Hildreth to get you where you need to go safely and efficiently. To learn more about Hildreth, you can reach out to them at hildreth.com. Hildreth is a proud supporter of Howard Bison Athletics. Jack McDaniels still in at quarterback, looking downfield, fires to Alleen out of the backfield and incomplete. Second down after the incomplete pass to Bryson Alleen out of the backfield.
Try to get outside, make something happen in the passing game, and nearly paid off for him, but you want Alleen to get his hands out there. He tried to catch it with his shoulder pad, and that's why it ricocheted off and into the Howard Bison bench. So not a bad throw right there by McDaniels.
McDaniels replaced Black at quarterback for the Hornets. Steps up in the pocket and nearly threw the interception. That would have been a pick six for sure, right in the hands of Augustine.
Yeah, we've called Jameer Augustine's name a lot. Freshman linebacker, Atlanta, Georgia, 5'10", 230. He's been all over the field defensively for the Bison. He almost had a pick six right there. Hit him in the bad spot, the hands.
Third and 10. Augustine will be kicking himself tonight. Alleen up to the 20-yard line and a fourth down coming up for Delaware State.
Nice tackle right there by Marcellus Allison, another linebacker at 6'4", 220. Again, length and athleticism at the second level. Did a great job in making that stop and bringing him down.
Delaware State's program has struggled over the last few seasons. The Hornets just 3-18 the last 20 MEAC games. They've not had a winning season since 2012. But Coach Rod Milstead, back at his alma mater, hopes to change all that. The punt by Romo Martinez. Taken at the 40-yard line and immediately brought down. 12:44 to go, third quarter. Let's see if Kalen Newton can throw his sixth touchdown pass of the game.
In code, I can take an idea from a sketch and turn it into a real product in one device. It's pretty amazing.
In the nation's capital, Howard and Delaware State. I got a chance to talk to Delaware State head coach Rod Milstead coming out of the locker room, and he said, listen, we just need to grow up. We made too many mistakes, too many uncharacteristic things going on the field for us. And he said, defensively, if we can't get pressure on Newton, we can't do anything.
Thank you very much, Jeff. What a great catch right there by Parson. Derek Parson. You talk about, he was out of bounds, so incomplete, but just to get a play on that ball was great work.
Again, you got running backs that are able to fight for position like they are wide receivers. I felt as though they forced that play because we saw Kyle Anthony on the other side of the field wide open in the flat, but they wanted to hit that home run. But credit to Parson for finding a way to get back to the ball to make that reception even though it was out of bounds.
Howard goes on the ground this time to Reynoso. Iggy gets up to the 49-yard line. Gain of 7 yards.
He's been their most successful ball carrier as far as in a traditional sense. Everyone else, including him, have done a great job as receivers. So really impressed with the versatility of this Howard offense.
One of the guys they don't have in the running back stable is Joshua Crute, who had a couple of big games early on in the season. Out with an injury. Going down to Anthony. Oh, in and out of his hands. There's a rarity. Anthony doesn't drop many. Great coverage on the play, and Anthony could not hold on to it. And incomplete.
It's a great job right there by Jawayne Granger, a sophomore, 5'9", 160, going up against the 6'4" receiver and able to get that arm inside and knock that pass away. Just a good job in coverage, not panicking, finding the football and knocking it down.
So Delaware State holding Howard to back-to-back punts here in this second half, down 41-6.
Well, that speaks to what Coach was talking about, Coach Rod Milstead, growing up. This team has had success moving football offensively. We're now starting to see their defense step up and get stops.
Alleen Fair catch, and he muffed the catch and then picks it up. And he stopped. Called for a fair catch, was unable to catch it. We'll see what the Hornets can do offensively. McDaniels came in replace of Black, and they started that short passing game, and I think McDaniels has played pretty well.
He has, and that has allowed them the ability to run the football because it has provided the balance. And so that's why you've seen their offense move the ball down the field. And we've already talked about their offensive line in a running game. And when I talked to Coach Milstead earlier in the week, he spoke about getting athletic linemen, kind of like himself, what he was when he was at Delaware State, an athletic lineman that get out there on the move but still has that core strength to knock you off the ball.
1st and 10 to the 15 for the Hornets. A lean, big run up the middle and a first down run of 18 yards for Oleen. That moves the sticks.
He ran right behind Matthew Dirks, the sophomore guard, 6'3", 315. That center, Ernest Seller, 6 feet, 275. So not big guys, but guys that can definitely get quick on the defender and move him out the way.
Dirks is from Brentford, Ontario. There's another player they have from across the border that people are going to hear about, not this year, but maybe in upcoming years.
Yeah, Coach talked about having that pipeline in Canada. And I spent a lot of time in Canada. The first week of May, they played their college all-star game before the season. There's a ton of talent in Canada.
How do you recruit Canada?
It's tough. You have to go through the whole process of getting visas and things of that nature, but there's a lot of guys that are very good football players, that are good athletes. Normally you find them at the skill positions up north of the border.
2nd down. Dallas with the run, hit at the 45-yard line before he was stopped, but that'll be enough for a first down.
The running game is starting to pop for the Hornets, and that's a positive thing to see for this offense because now they're going to start to move the tempo, push the pace a little bit. You're going to see them try to go deep down the field and take a shot because, again, their ground game is working. They've had success with the short passing game. Now they may want to go up top against the secondary catch and gamble.
Delaware State playing without Mike Waters, who's number 2 in the MEAC, rushing the football out with an injury. Give right up the middle. Waters, he was injured most of the season last year, but when he was a freshman, over 200 yards, set a record for Delaware State as a freshman the last time they played here in Washington, D.C. But he's out with an injury. Came into this game number 2 in the MEAC. Harris, the carry up to midfield before he was stopped.
Now Harris is your bigger back for Delaware State. He's 6 feet, 215 from Long Island. And you see Howard have success in finding him. Good job right there defensively by Howard. Defensive lineman Antonio Turner getting off the block. Another freshman from Chesapeake, Virginia, making plays for this defense.
A lot of young players. 2nd or 3rd down. Oleen running forward into Bison territory before he stopped at the 48. I would think without having Mike Waters, that hurts. Out of Philadelphia, Emotep Charter. When he was at Emotep, he led them to the state championship in Pennsylvania in 2015. But it's the next guy up. Oleen has stepped up, and then Dallas has been nice, and now they work Harris into the mix as well.
They're going to be just fine. I like the way Coach Milstead is building this program in similar fashion that Coach London has built this program in 2 years. He's going to do it the recruiting way and get guys in position to be successful and buy into the system.
Romo Martinez's punt. Another one shanked. He shanked one earlier in the first quarter and shanks this one, and Howard will have the football back.
Well, so much for trying to flip field position. You know, that's what Delaware State wanted to do on this particular ball and then went all the way into the reservoir. It's a heck of a directional punt, right?
Yeah, that is a shank.
Yeah, my man right there was thinking about going and get it, but he thought twice when he saw that water. I don't blame him.
Well, you know, to your point about the Hornets not being that far off, you got to remember now that they have 6 league titles. Their last one, came in 2007. So it wasn't that long ago where Delaware State, had a very competitive football team in the MEAC and was competing for titles. They won a share or 6 league titles in 85, 89, and 2007. They shared the crown in 80, 87, 88, and 91. So They're hoping to get back to that kind of form. The kind of form when he was there, when he played there.
And I was about to say, he won 3 of those MEAC titles, and the other one was won by one of my favorite receivers of all time, in John Taylor of San Francisco 49ers, number 82.
Yep, John Taylor went to Delaware State. Newton on the keeper there. Brought down at the 44-yard line. Jones made the stop for the Hornets.
And you talk about the program of Delaware State. Listen, they have a guy right now that's playing in the NFL that's playing great football for the Arizona Cardinals, and Rodney Gunther. So he's a recent grad, so they've had talent. It's just about getting everything on the same page as a program and moving it forward.
Reynoso outside for 1 yard. Smith makes the stop on Reynoso after the 1 yard gain. 3rd down coming up.
See Howard starting to work their running game in the second half, coming out, running east, running west, running north and south, trying to work that defense and loosen up that pressure that they're seeing up front from Delaware State.
Number 2 in the MEAC rushing the football. Kalen Newton's 3rd in the MEAC running the ball. Up the middle, nowhere to go. Great job by the Hornets defense to stop the pursuit right at the line of scrimmage.
That's great team defense right there by the Hornets. You see them swarm in the backfield to make the stop. And credit this defense for playing well despite losing Kewan Selby early in the ball game to an injury. But this defense has been fired up. They've competed well on both ends. This is the 3rd straight series for Howard that are into the punt.
So after Brandon rushed for no gain, another punt by the Bison. Aline had one go through his hands when he fair catch the punt last time. This one he's going to let roll, and it goes down to the 1 yard line. How about that? No, they're going to say it's a touchback. Ali was trying to get there to save that one. That was closer than his touchdown in the first quarter. And there's a penalty marker down. We'll have to wait and see what Eric Green and his crew figure out.
You knew I was going to go there with the touchdown, right?
Oh, yeah. No doubt. Eric Green and his staff talking it over. 41-6 game. Howard explosive in the first half.
Oh, on the receiving team, number 83.
6:36 to go, 3rd quarter. We'll step aside. Howard up 41-6. It's the Sports Fever Television Network MEAC College Football Game of the Week.
The unmistakable Cadillac XT4. Once again, driving is wonderful.
For football at Washington, D.C. Partly sunny, sun coming out, 58 degrees. Feels like football weather. Nice day. Things going great for Howard in their first home game of the season. McDaniels keeps it himself. 6-yard pickup on a first down run by Jack McDaniels.
And smartly slides down. No need for unnecessary contact if you're the quarterback.
2nd down coming up. McDaniel stops playing. He thought there was going to be a penalty marker, but there wasn't. And then pitches the ball to Dallas, who's still on his feet, and tackled inside the 5-yard line. McDaniel just stopped. He thought there was going to be a penalty mark. He thought one of his offensive linemen jumped, so he stopped playing. And then the late pitch to Dallas, and he had to run for his life.
Yeah, at that point, you want the refs to protect you. Kind of went from bad to worse right there. If you're Delaware State, it's going to be a quick 3-and-out for Delaware State. You can safely say that. Good job by Howard's defense, though, not falling asleep and continuing to play and getting the stop for a loss.
3rd and 15 coming up for the Hornets. Aline gets to the 9-yard line, and then 4th down coming, and Fidel Romo Martinez will punt again. Ball back to the Bison.
I wonder if Howard would be a little bit more aggressive here and try to go for the block, try to get big special teams play. They've been sort of stagnant on offense the second half, so credit Delaware State's defense.
Boyd back to receive the punt. He's standing at midfield from Romo Martinez. High boot. It's fielded by Boyd and immediately tackled at midfield.
That's the second big special teams tackle by Jordan Hanna, the wide receiver, 5'5", 170 from Brooklyn, New York, Abraham Lincoln High School. You know who else went to Abraham Lincoln High School?
Give it to me.
Sebastian Telford.
Oh,
there you go.
I like that.
Chock full of knowledge over here, man. That's just a great open field tackle right there on special teams. Second one he's made today. That's going to get him a helmet sticker in the locker room from the coaching staff because he's done a great job in this aspect of the game.
We're switching your name to the czar of the history book instead of the playbook. 1st and 10 from midfield for Howard.
It's basketball season.
At 41 points. They're putting up basketball-like numbers, this offense. Newton. The Ezard. Ezard almost came up with the catch. It was thrown behind him, and he made all he could to try to make a play on it at the 10, but incomplete.
Second big defensive play by Dwayne Granger, the sophomore corner who has taken over for Kewan Selby. But you talk about this offense, man, they literally work touchdown to check down. They're going deep, forgetting all flat offensive players. We're going to try to work touchdown to check down this passing game, and that's the philosophy of offensive coordinator Brandon Marion.
2nd and 10 from midfield. Handoff to Brannon. Brannon up to the 45-yard line into Hornets territory. After Brannon's carry. Certainly, Delaware State has done a much better job here in the second half defensively. Howard had a punt 3 times already this quarter. Might have to punt again with a 3rd and 6 coming up for Newton. Hornets look like they jump. Penalty marker comes down. Free play for Newton going down the far sideline and incomplete. Had a free play there because it looked like the Hornets jumped. And he was looking for Ezard and incomplete.
He should bring up 3rd and 2. Coach Milstead's going to have a lot of coaching tape, a lot of teach tape for these guys this upcoming week of practice.
3rd and 1 after the 5-yard penalty from the 41. Hornets show pressure. Newton on the option, picks up 6 yards.
He did a great job lowering his shoulder. I think what people underestimate about him is the fact that he is 205 pounds at 6 feet tall. And so when you have that natural leverage and core strength as he does a great job in just getting that boom on a defender.
There's the pads popping. Newton's not afraid of contact.
Did what he had to do to convert that 1st down.
Trying to tie Ted White with 6 touchdowns passing touchdowns in a game here at Howard. Needs one more. Hand off to Iggy. Onoso gets a couple of yards. That must be exciting. You get recruited by Howard, you're a freshman and a sophomore, and Coach London's going to play you.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to sit around, you're not going to wait. 2nd year, he turned him around last season with a very successful season, and he's playing the young guys. Open field, the big hole, and a touchdown for Howard. And that's Derek Parson with a touchdown. His 2nd touchdown of the season for the sophomore from Philadelphia. Takes it in.
Yeah, you talk about a guy with a lot of speed and burst. We just saw him make a couple of plays in the passing game and show great effort on one that was incomplete, but he made the effort. Here on the running play, just found the space, and you just saw him at the end of the play lower his head like he was crossing the finish line. He has that track speed as well. Dedrick Parson doing a great job showcasing himself and his skill set today for Howard.
His 1st rushing touchdown, he had a receiving touchdown, so 2 touchdowns on the year for the sophomore. Parson, the extra point is good by Joseph. The Bison just keep pouring it on. 48-6 is our score. Parson in the end zone. Happy times in Washington.
Even if they don't. Hampton by Hilton.
48-6 after the Parsons touchdown run. First rushing touchdown of the game for Howard. The other 5 touchdowns coming at the arm of Kalen Newton. The 3 touchdown passes to Ezzard, and the 1 to Anthony, the 1 to Alley. And they'll kick from the 50 after the penalty, unsportsmanlike penalty on Delaware State on the extra point. So Howard will be kicking from midfield. The 2:43 to go, third quarter. Remember, they have 1 onside kick that was successful in that first half. They have to have the holder because of the wind. And kicked it out of the end zone for a touchback. Just 2 field goals for the Hornets. Let's head down to the field for a report. Jeff Jazeski. Jeff?
Guys, these two teams, very old rivals. This the 75th all-time meeting between the two. And Howard, with a win, as it looks like, would give them 3 straight and also bring some symmetry to that all-time series. 37, 37, and 1 will be the all-time series record if Howard holds on to win this game, Phil.
Yes, certainly the oldest rivalry for Delaware State, as Jeff mentioned there. Dallas with the carry across the 30 to the 31-yard line.
See right here, saw the outside contained, lost by Howard. He bounced it outside, found his face, picked up 5 yards.
McDaniels with the handoff to Dallas. Falls forward short of the first down. 3rd and short coming up.
You brought up Ted White and Kalen Newton approaching his record. Right now, Ted White was a phenomenal player, but he's also one of the best coaches in football. He's an offensive coordinator for Prairie View, and they got a big game tonight against Southern.
Yes, they do. We saw this earlier, the big running ability on that short passing play to Selby. He has some speed. Get him in open space. He took one almost to the house in the first half, and here takes it into Bison territory. So great run after catch by Selby.
Yeah, Selby has done a good job bouncing back from those earlier drops, and really hadn't seen him go to him as much after that big play in the passing game. So it's good to see him getting more involved on the series.
All lean with the carry on the first down carry. Flood made the stop for the Bison. 2nd and 7 now for the Hornets. 1:20 remain here in the third quarter. Penalty marker down. That's going to be on Delaware State.
Like it's 2 steps forward, 2 steps back for Delaware State today, but there are some positives that they put out here on film for head coach Rod Milstead, and these are the parts of the process that you're going to see when you're your first year as a head coach here and you're trying to build a program or get it back to where you want it to be, where it was when he was there. And so you're seeing some good things for this football team. They're going to have a bright future.
Delaware State currently riding a 25-game losing streak. Their last road win was at Norfolk State, 13-10 overtime on 2014. Daniels' pass incomplete. Was looking for Hannon and incomplete.
Yeah, Jordan Hanna has been the star on special teams for the Hornets, so why not reward the receiver with a pass and just a little bit overshot him going over the middle of the field. Going to see right there, just going deep over the middle of the field and just threw it high. Maybe the pressure caused him to force that ball higher than he wanted to, but those are the plays that they have to make.
3rd and 12. McDaniels fires. The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Looking to get it back to Jordan, and the ball was tipped at the line and misdirected. And an incomplete pass, 4th down and 12 coming up.
Devin Hurtado, the outside linebacker for Fremont, California, 6'2", 220, getting his big paw out there in the way and knocking that pass down.
Hurtado has an interception this season, go along with 12 tackles. Fidel Romo Martinez. His punt. It goes out of bounds at the 20-yard line. 33 seconds to go here, third quarter. 48-6 score. Kempton, Carlisle Hotel, DuPont Circle, proud to sponsor Howard University Bison. Say hi to High Style, Carlisle. The Boutique, Holiday Center to DuPont Circle, spacious rooms, top-rated restaurant, the Rigsby, and a lot more. The Kempton Perks, hosting your evening wine hour and more. Visit us at CarlisleHotelDC.com or call 202-234-3200. Proud sponsors of Howard Athletics. Howard looking for another touchdown. And the incompletion, as they were trying to get the football to Cheney, Justin Cheney. That was almost touchdown number 6.
Yeah, Cheney has to make sure to keep running. He stopped on that route and tried to get his speed back up to par on the later end of it. He slowed down, and that's where Newton threw the football right where it should have been. Just got to hope your receiver runs through that reception.
2nd and 10 from the 20. The pitch. Great move. Outstanding job there. Running the football. Again, Parson. He's feeling good after that touchdown, right? That gives you a little momentum. After you get in the end zone, you kind of run pretty hard after scoring a touchdown, and Parson picks up a first down for Howard. Final play of the third quarter. The floater up in the air and incomplete, looking for Gillespie.
Yeah, they tried to give Newton that touchdown on the first play before putting in Raymar Williams in, the sophomore out of Bowie, Maryland. We don't know if that's for the rest of the game, but they tried to get that 6 for Newton.
Yeah, why not? Raymar Williams, 5 of 8, passing the football. Hasn't got a lot of time playing, but get an opportunity here with a 48-6 lead. Runs the option, does Williams, in at quarterback. Across the 35-yard line to the 36 on the final play of the third quarter. We're heading to the fourth quarter on our MEAC Game of the Week on the Sports Fever Television Network. The Bison with a 48-6 lead. Bison up 48-6. Williams in for Newton at quarterback. Reynoso in the backfield with him. Williams will throw the football. Here comes the pressure, and Williams is sacked. Hit right at the line of scrimmage. A couple of scores from around the MEAC. North Carolina A&T with a 21-13 lead over Florida A&M, FAMU. That's in the fourth quarter. And Bethune-Cookman, second quarter lead over South Carolina State, 18-6. Morgan State and Savannah State play tonight, 6 o'clock. Morgan State's the next opponent for Howard next week in Baltimore, 7 o'clock on the Sports Fever Television Network. Short kick, bounces. Taken at the 34-yard line, and that's where Delaware State will have it. So Newton, 5 touchdown passes, and he'll be done for the day. Had 313 yards at the end of the first half. 10 of 18 with that, of course, that one interception he threw in the end zone. So another 300-yard passing day for Newton with 5 touchdowns. And Ezzard, over 191 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. Just big numbers. Anthony had another touchdown here today. The offense was showcased in a big way in their first home game at Green Stadium.
If you're Coach Mike London, you have to be impressed with your defensive effort today and how they've been able to keep Delaware State out the end zone. They've held them inside the red zone, forced 2 field goals. They've done a great job playing on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage and also making plays back deep in the secondary.
Delaware State doesn't like to be home in Delaware. They'll be on the road for their 6th road game next week at South Carolina State. Selby with the completion. Doesn't get much after the catch.
And that play right there just exemplifies what we've talked about all day long about the Howard Bison defense. Just great team defense. One guy missed him, and here come 2 more Bison defenders to be in on the stop to keep that game minimal. See right there, just a missed tackle, and 2 other defenders come right away to clean up the mess.
Delaware State with only 4 home games this year. Which Melstead, I guess he thinks, well, Melstead will get this team going next year and we'll be home a lot. Out of the backfield in the completion by McDaniels.
It's a good tackle right there by John Smith, the sixth, another freshman from Muskogee, Oklahoma.
Chris Ike made the catch, and a 4th down and another punt coming by Romo Martinez.
Keep an eye on Chris Ike, man. Michael Chris Ike, that's the kid from Canada that coaches are loving. They can't wait to get him more involved in the offense. He's going to be a phenomenal player. I remember watching his high school film. He's an excellent prospect coming out of Canada.
A short kick. This could turn into dangerous play. It was taken and down the sideline after a tremendous block. Taken by Murray. Murray on the return, and a vicious block down the sideline on the Murray return of that punt. I don't know if it was blocked or if it was off the side of his foot. It was blocked.
Yeah, 2 guys that burst through that line pretty freely. He was able to get the block. You're going to see right here on the replay. 2 guys got back there and blocked him. You're going to see the blindside block.
Murray on the return. There's an injury down in the field. We'll step aside with 12:16 to go, 4th quarter. The Bison up big. Gets up. Delaware State football team was concerned, but he was able to get up and walk off the field. The junior punter from Banning, California. I'm sure his brother Jose will check on him. 1st and 10 for the 23 for the Bison. Williams in at quarterback. Newton's day is done. Williams will keep it himself around the outside and gets out of bounds. So for Howard, next week, big game, the Beltway Battle, which is always an interesting game in Baltimore, 7 o'clock at Morgan State. Then they have South Carolina State on homecoming, and then FAMU, and then at Norfolk State, and end up the end of the season with Bryant. So this team could win some games.
Yeah, that's a tough stretch, man. Bryant has about as good of an offense as Howard does as far as put points up on the board. And we know FAMU can definitely play both offense and defense. So it's going to be fun to watch these guys continue to grow as the season progresses.
Brandon with the handoff makes one guy miss and then falls forward. The football's out, but he was down before that.
Probably see a hold here in the backfield.
On the field, face mask charge.
Face mask. Eric Green tells us about that. Here's Brandon's carry.
You see it right there on the ball carrier. He got a pretty good yank of that face mask. You hear the cheerleaders down there screaming the real HU. That's the biggest debate between Howard and Hampton for the real HU. Just a little bit of history for you.
Of course, with Hampton, they've left the MEAC, right?
You're in the Big South.
Yep. So the battle for the real HU has to be played outside of conference.
Exactly, and that's a big debate, when they're going to play again. But Hampton moving to the Big South, and you talk about a conference that has gotten stronger with Hampton. Next year they'll have North Alabama. They added Campbell this year.
So the MEAC loses Hampton, and then they're going to lose Savannah State because they're going back to Division II. So
correct.
Who does the MEAC? Where can they go? Can they pick up another team, or where do you think they go?
Ideally, if it were me, I'd be trying to convince Coppin State and Maryland Eastern Shore to start football again and add those 2 teams to the MEAC. But it's going to be tough to add teams to the MEAC.
Option goes right side. Parson with the run. Down inside the 5-yard line before he was stopped. Parson had the last Bison touchdown.
I like how he runs, man. And he runs with power because of his speed. And, you're running that fast, you're going to have a lot of power with him. You see him coming downhill right here on that option pitch. Does the right thing by cutting it back inside to keep this clock running.
3rd and goal from the 3. Bison trying to go over the 50-point mark. 48-6 lead, looking for more. Reynoso in the end zone. Why not? Iggy's been busy today. Give the freshman his second touchdown of his college career. Iggy Reynoso in from 3 yards.
It's one of the more impressive rushing attacks we've seen, or just offenses we've seen in the FCS. Right now this year, you got Princeton's offense, you have Bryant's offense, and you have Howard's offense. That is as consistent as they come as far as putting points up on the board. Howard, with this go-go offense and the way they are able to find matchups because of formations and personnel grouping, just does a great job in just exploiting a weakness on the defense throughout the entire game.
The extra point is up and good. Howard over the 50-point mark. They lead it 55-6 on STN.
Thrown off track. Anything can happen on Saturday night.
It's time for Our Soccer, Sunday on ESPN.
And having a good time at Green Stadium. Howard with 55 points on the board. There's a look at Iggy Reynoso, 5'11", 205-pound freshman from Reading, Pennsylvania. Latest Bison to get into the end zone. So 5 receiving, passing touchdowns in the first half and a couple of rushing touchdowns to add to their point total here in the second half.
Howard really had to work hard the second half to put points up on the board, so credit Delaware State's defense, but you just got to be excited watching this Bison offense just take the field and be able to move up and down the field as they please.
10:08 to go in this fourth quarter. Aline with the return for the Hornets. A run out of bounds at the 21-yard line.
And with the way they run their offense, you can see why they gave a lot of the FBS opponents problems. You know, UNLV, Kent State, you know, you can understand why.
They played great against Howard. They opened the season. They almost pulled the upset for the second year in a row. Lost to Howard only 38-32. So they Ohio, I'm sorry. Yeah, Ohio. What am I saying?
Yeah, it can be confused there. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that was Ohio to open the season. Last year shocked the world with Kalen Newton's opener as a freshman with the upset at UNLV. So now you have some Chris Ike, one of the young guys. So many young, talented players for Delaware State.
Yeah, Michael Chris Ike is going to be one to watch, man. He's got the potential to be one of the best players in the MEAC. You know, give him some more reps, and he's going to do wonders for this football team.
Chris Ike picked up 7 yards, 2nd and 3. Not this time. Howard does a better job of closing the gap. Making the stop. Richard Harris only could get back to the line of scrimmage, and that was it.
Because Howard does a great job in rotating defenders throughout the game anyway, now when they're putting a lot of reserves in, guys that have a lot of game experience, so you don't see any drop-off, which is why their defense has been as stout as it was in the first half, even with reserves in.
8:45 to go. Delaware State winless on the season. Now their road losing streak goes to 26 games. And they're on the road a lot this year. Only a few home games, as I mentioned before.
I think I might enter the press box next week that way.
In a helicopter?
Jump out the helicopter.
Yeah, you're double duty to, next week. You'll be here in the Washington area, right, for a Georgetown game in the afternoon, and then you'll join us for the 7 o'clock kickoff for Howard and Morgan State next Saturday night in Baltimore.
Exactly. So we need that chopper.
McDaniel's pass incomplete. We're looking for Gross. Gross only one catch today, the leading receiver coming in.
And his one catch was a key one. It was that 4th down reception he needed to get points up on the board.
Gross 19 catches. It's 8th in the MEAC. He's 4th in yards. 264 yards receiving coming in to the game today. He had a huge game against Norfolk State. 9 catches, 162 yards, and 2 touchdowns. McDaniels' pass complete. Shelby with the catch. Selby's been active. He's a guy, last year he was the leading receiver, and he started off the season really slow. Coming in, he only had 11 catches for 50 yards. So they were very concerned that their leading receiver from a year ago had a slow start. Well, not today. They gave him plenty of opportunities. He had a pretty nice day at the receiver position.
Absolutely. He's been a big playmaker for him.
Comes the pressure on McDaniels, has to throw the football away. Good catch by one of the assistant coaches on the Howard sideline.
He's getting some love on the sideline from his teammates.
One thing about Coach London, he has some great guys around him. Take a look at the hit that McDaniels takes here. You have Vince Brown as his defensive coordinator, and we already talked about Coach Marion as the offensive coordinator, but Coach London came in, was at Maryland as an assistant coach, of course was the head coach at Virginia, head coach at Richmond, won a national title there, played at Richmond, was out of football for a while, was actually on the police force as a detective in Richmond before getting back into football, played in the NFL for a little bit, and certainly a football guy. Here's a fake punt, great call, they pull it off, they get the first down and a whole lot more into Bison territory, and how about that, the direct snap. Back to the linebacker, making plays, and now gets the first down.
Yeah, Brian Cavalcante has been an excellent player on defense. Now he gets the job done. He might start begging for some more carries. He looked natural toting that rock like that.
Cavalcante leads the MEAC in tackles, over 50 coming into the game. And had a couple today, had 50 coming in, had a few tackles in that first half. And why not? Slip number 7. Cavalcante in, and he runs for the first down on the fake punt direct snap. So, Aline, 8-yard pickup. Aline was dancing and jiving there.
I'm glad you said that because watch him on this particular play. This is the benefit of being a shorter, squattier back. Making the guys miss and finding open creases in between traffic is just a unique trait to those that are below 6 feet tall.
Aline again falls forward for 2 yards. Hornets would love to have a touchdown. They just have 2 Romo Martinez field goals. Howard's defense pitching a shutout as far as touchdowns are concerned. There's an injured lineman down on the field with 6:05 to go here in the fourth quarter.
To piggyback on your point about Coach London, I sat with him 2 years ago when he just got here and was talking about the program, and you could just see the passion in his eyes as far as him trying to build this thing from the ground up.
We'll step aside, 6:05 to go, fourth quarter, 55-6.
That's a win, but it's not the only reason I switched. Geico has licensed agents who I can reach 24/7.
Winner.
Now that's a win-win.
3rd and 1 coming up for the Hornets from the Howard 26-yard line. McDaniels from the gun. Aline gets the carry, and Aline gets the first down. Picks up 2 yards, got what he needed.
One of the biggest myths that's out there right now, football-wise, is that small backs can't run tough inside. We've seen Bryce Aline do this the entire ball game. So again, if you're good enough, you're big enough, and when you're that small, you're tough to hit, and therefore you're going to be able to slide off tacklers and find nooks and crannies in the defense.
First down, McDaniels, the handoff. Straight up the middle. Chris Ike again. We're working him here in this drive. A couple of tough runs by Chris Ike. 6-yard pickup.
Yeah, you're going to hear that a lot throughout the course of his career. He's a really terrific runner.
Chris Ike again around the outside, makes a man miss, and then falls down across the 10-yard line and down to the 9. He was very close to scoring the first Delaware State touchdown of this game.
Kind of like James Starks that used to play for the Green Bay Packers, the former Buffalo Bulls star up in college, but he's a 6'2", 215-pound back that has that good body lean for a guy that's that tall.
Chris Ike again, straight up the middle, and he moves the pile, gets down to the 5-yard line.
He's smelling a touchdown here, man. He wants Coach Milstead wants to get that freshman a touchdown, and you see this offensive line just starting to lean on that Bison defensive front, that reserve Bison defensive front. And this is how you start to establish an identity if you're Delaware State. We're going to be a tough physical football team, and we're going to run the football. That's the type of mindset you try to set.
And running the football is where they're going to get their offense from. They're 5th in the MEAC in rushing, so that's their strong point. But they're going to the air this time, looking for their first touchdown. Incomplete, looking for Gross.
It's a pretty good throw, good effort. You want him to be a little bit more athletic and get outside. He did what he could.
When they're looking for a tough catch, they go to 81.
Exactly. He put the ball where only he can catch it. So I'm not upset at that particular play.
Run very close to the end zone by Chris Ike. Down to the 1. You got to give it to him one more time.
You got to give it to him one more time.
You got to give him one more shot.
Either give it to him or give it to Cavalcante. Let's show what he did on that fake punt.
I don't know if Cavalcante is going to be put in at this point. If he is, I think Howard would know what was going on. Howard rotates their defense. All 11 guys come off and 11 new ones on. Now they need a timeout. And we'll stay here with 3:29 to go. .55-6, Delaware State looking for their first touchdown of the day. Knocking on the door, down on the 1-yard line with a 4th and goal.
It's about to be 25 blasts, but I can smell it.
Today's 10 Experience Food is sponsored by Ooh and Ah Restaurant, located on 5933 Georgia Avenue or 1005 U Street Northwest, where good food and good people connect. Visit their newest location at 5933 George Avenue Northwest. Free parking available at the Walmart garage. Ooh and Ah Restaurant provided the food today here at Howard University. The 10 Experience, some of the best soul food you're going to find. Ooh and Ah. What a name.
That's the perfect name for that food. I'm a fan.
We had some soul food at 9:30 this morning. Let's see if Delaware State can get in the end zone. And they do. Back to the freshman, and why not? Michael Chris Ike, he deserved it. Had a couple of big carries, and he's in from 1 yard out. And the Hornets are on the board with their first touchdown of the day.
You got to be happy for the freshman getting his first collegiate touchdown. They ran the offense through him once they got inside the 30-yard line, and they rewarded the big back with the tote. He got the score.
I guess they couldn't wait for his talents. They had to get him out in the field, right?
Had to get him out. You know, I understand, and the cool part is he can still redshirt. You know, it all depends on how many games he plays, but you gotta like the future for Delaware State, especially with Coach Rod Milstead building this program in his own likeness. Tough on the inside, athletic, with big backs is going to be able to run the football.
Coach Milstead calls a timeout after the touchdown. They're on the board. Coach Milstead, playing career in the NFL. He played with the Cowboys, the Browns, the 49ers, and the Redskins. Also was an assistant coach at North Carolina Central in 2013. Was an assistant coach for a few years on and off at Delaware State. This is his first head coaching job. He's been assistant, and I think he's ready for it. Certainly is glad to be back, you know, where he played, and really has all his heart into turning the Delaware State football program around.
And he's all about giving back. He also broke into coaching back at his old high school at Lackey High School in Maryland.
Extra point is good. 3:25 to go here from Washington, D.C.
King of LA. LeBron makes his LA debut Saturday.
Delaware State, their first touchdown of the day. It's been all Howard, the Bison, dancing along to a 55-13 lead. Scores around the MEAC. North Carolina A&T with a 21-13 lead over FAMU. That's in the fourth quarter. And at the half, Bethune-Cookman, 25-13 lead over South Carolina State. That's who Delaware State has next week. And Morgan State and Savannah State play tonight at 6 o'clock. Onside kick. The Hornets, the Bison were successful with an onside kick in the first half.
That ball hit a Delaware State player right off the kick.
So Howard will have the football back, but a good try. Why not? Down 55-13.
You're lucky that there's no camera here in the press box, because the way you were millie rocking during that halftime break would have been a sight to see for the audience out there.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad at halftime we were able to show you the Showtime Band of Howard University. So many outstanding bands in the MEAC. Halftime at other venues, you go and you get something to eat, you go to the bathroom. Not in the MEAC. You stay in your seat for halftime.
You risk losing your seat if you leave at halftime.
Absolutely, and we enjoyed the Showtime Band. There's a shot of the Showtime Band. We were glad we were able to show you some of their performance at the half. And of course, Jeff had some special guests as well from Howard. It's good to hear from them. They're getting ready for basketball, believe it or not. They're talking to the women's basketball coach at the half, and basketball season about to get started. Also good to hear from athletic director Carrie Davis.
I like how Coach London also has his son, Mike London Jr., coaching on the staff as well. He's a really good young coach, getting some experience here at a Division I program.
1st and 10 from the 39. We have a new quarterback in for Howard. So they're going to their 3rd string quarterback.
You also have to give credit to E.J. Barthel. That was a big hire coming from Albany. He's a running backs coach, but also is in charge of player development. So not surprised to see the pipeline of talent that's going to start coming this way for this Howard Bison program.
I mentioned before the fact that Coach London, very smart to get good people around him, and he understands that from his coaching experience at Richmond and University of Virginia, to get a good bunch of coaches, and he has some very bright assistant coaches with him. First down run by Pugh, the penalty marker down.
You talk about the assistant recruiting coordinator and safeties coach, Cato June. Remember him?
Yes, absolutely.
Very good football player. Razad Dowling, former Virginia Cavalier, is now coaching the cornerback. So he has put together a very good football staff that has done a great job in coaching these guys up. This is probably the best defensive effort we've seen from Howard in 2 years.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is defensively the area. I mean, last week, if they would have made a defensive stop or two, they would have got a win on the road at North Carolina Central. That was a tough loss for them. They lost that game last week 40-35. Touchdown in the final 24 seconds kind of put it away. Barron with the carry. Brannon. There's so many young guys that Howard has, so many weapons. I mean, and everybody gets an opportunity. That's exciting that everybody gets a shot.
And Raquez Brandon is a senior, so he's the elder statesman from Durham, North Carolina, getting an opportunity. He almost popped that one. You see him a little frustrated because he was one shoestring tackle away from bringing that one to the house.
For their stable of running backs, Dorsey's a freshman, Reynoso's a freshman, Lewis is a sophomore, Parsons is a sophomore, Crute, who's injured, he's a freshman, and then you're right, Brannon is the senior, the statesman of the group. Getting some time to play here, and here's Brannon. Luke tries to get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's as far as he would get.
You saw him take that football from the quarterback. It was supposed to be a zone read, and Brannon was like, nope, I made the read for you. I'm taking this ball, trying to get to the outside. You see him right there. Almost lost it, but they able to tuck it away.
So Howard will be at Morgan State next week on the Sports Fever Television Network, 7 o'clock kickoff. Beltway battle of the Beltway. And Delaware State, they will continue their road tour. They'll be at South Carolina State for a 1:30 kickoff next week. 1:02 remain as Howard calls a timeout. Newton, 5 touchdown passes. Ezard, 3 touchdown catches. Anthony had a touchdown. So the playmakers continue to make big plays for this Howard offense. Here's a look at Howard bench. Williams, the backup quarterback. The rest of the Howard Bison. Nighttime game for them next week. They'll be ready to go. We saw Morgan State last week against South Carolina State, and their strength is their defense, but they'll be challenged.
That right, strength versus strength battle next week, I tell you that. Great offense, great defense, something's got to give.
102 remain, 55-13's our score. And the pitch to Brannon.
It's a good job by Delaware State not giving up here in this situation, which shows a lot of mental toughness. You know, there's one-on-one in space right here. Nice option pitch, good read. Ooh, and took a hit for it. But that's what you have to do to get that perfect read like that on the option.
Especially if you're the third-string quarterback.
You have to take that hit, right. You got to take the hit, right.
Under a minute to go, 55 seconds. 2008 debut for the Howard Bison here at Green Stadium, very much a success.
Another impressive run by Michael Chris Ike. Yes, I'm a Michael Chris Ike fan because I've seen him play high school ball. I know the talent that's up there in Canada, and I'm glad that Coach Rod Milstead went across the border and was able to pluck some of that talent from our Canadian brothers.
You mentioned him before, and so I didn't think we'd see him because you said they really wanted to kind of redshirt him, but you explained that he could still have an opportunity to redshirt.
Still that opportunity, doesn't play more than 4 games. We'll see how they'll manage that situation.
And that's a new rule. You
that's
like
a new
it?
rule.
You
I
like
love it. I love it because think about it. If you're going to play a freshman late in the season, you play him late in the season, you get a chance to give him game reps, redshirt, and now he goes into the season next year with experience.
He's certainly the future, this guy, Michael Chris Ike. 5 seconds remain. So Howard, big numbers. Newton, 5 touchdown passes. Ezard, 3 touchdown catches. Howard wins big. Sports Fever Television Network, MEAC College Football Game of the Week. We're glad to be here today in Washington, D.C. Howard gets the big 55-13 win. For Jeff Jazeski on the sidelines, my partner, the czar of the playbook, Emory Hunt. I'm Phil Shader for the entire Sports Fever Television Network crew. We'll see you next week from Baltimore, Maryland, when Howard takes on Morgan. Take care, everybody.